Hi, it's Coach MK. Hi, I've got two cameras going in totally different locations now, so this is going to be even weirder than last time, but we're going to get through it as quickly as possible. So, here's the deal. When I'm talking out one side of my mouth, I'm going to look here. When I'm talking out the other side of my mouth, I'll be over here. Yay, just kidding. So, many of you know it's the final Ask the Coach with Coach MK, and I'm going to try to do something a little bit differently, something I've never done before. I'm going to go the extra mile on Ask the Coach in a way that I haven't before. There's my Twitch. If you go to my Twitch channel, www.twitch.tv/CoachMK, that will be one long, continuous, unbroken stream, and the angle will improve once I'm through with the Facebook side. First, I'm going to do my little talk about, my final lesson. I guess I'll put it that way. Which I hate to put it that way. When I talk about final, it sounds like I'm dying. I think of that professor that was dying from cancer. The final lecture, and that's like I'm not dying, y'all. Not dead. Been saying it for weeks. So I'm gonna do my final lesson here on the Coach MK Facebook page, and then I'm gonna migrate from room to room into private Facebook groups as I address their Ask the Coach questions. So that means that this stream that you're watching right now, if you're watching me on Facebook, it's going to end fairly soon. Hang out with me here. The one that's going to be unbroken is the one on Twitch, but I'm not going to be looking directly at you. Twitch, you're going to have all my attention going forward, but tonight this is the last time that's truly and thoroughly dedicated to Coach MK. That said, if you have questions in Twitch world, throw them in the chat. I absolutely will address them. If I am in your Facebook group and you are watching when I respond, and you have a follow-up question or comment, put it in Twitch too. I will see it because those screens are side to side. I just can't look at the screens and the cameras at the same time with this mechanism. And my new toy, it's not totally broken. I just don't know how to use it. I got, it's when I started using Twitch, I never really felt old. Let me back up. I'm not one of those people that like worries about being old or like, oh my God, yes, thank you. This is a Cocotte original. If you go Cocotte Jewelry on Instagram, my friend makes this stuff and she's amazing. She got the earrings too. So when I've never been one of those people that worries about being old or feeling old until I started using Twitch and started having issues with Twitch. I got pulled into a Discord chat the other night. I'm proud of myself because I'm probably the oldest person in there and I happen to know what Discord is. So like, yay! I'm cooler than your mom, right? It's cool. And I'm like, I'm having some trouble with XSplit, and they're like, it's like laughter in this room. They're all like, I didn't know anyone used XSplit anymore, and I'm like, Twitch is like 5 years old, people. How in the world am I already like an old lady in this new medium? Amazing. So here I am with my, like, at least I don't have an AOL.com account. The one I have is way worse. Me.com was the original Apple email accounts that I got with my my Mac, my candy-colored Macintosh when I was back in college, right? Discord is another way. So gamers are pretty awesome, and that's Twitch and Discord were primarily for gamers. So, but media companies have put a game out on multiple platforms. So if you lived in like Portland and your best friend lived in New York City and you both played the same game, unless you played on the same system, you couldn't talk to each other. So Twitch and Discord were two fixes people effectively came up with so they could game together or watch each other play in the same game even if they still can participate at the same time. Discord is like if you were to think of it, it's kind of like a really streamed down Slack that was intended to show like for chat and short video, and it integrates with any game system. So I can watch you via Twitch and chat with you via Discord on your screen while you play a game, even if I don't have the same system and I'm not in the same geographic location. Something I was told a really long time ago from not a friend, he was a mentor and I really admired him, in the investment bank where I was an intern, and he was like, what you want to watch are gamers. Anything that they are doing to make their experience better is technology that will later become the standard. And I don't think I'm allowed to talk much about the deals I worked on during that period, but let's just say that those companies have grown and that advice was prescient. So when I was advised that Twitch was the way forward and I really need to figure out how to use it, I listened, I rolled my eyes a little bit because that was like 2014. And then when I heard it again this year, as a potential solution to the issues I was having with Facebook in the wake of the Brett Kavanaugh hearings and my own personal triggers. It got my attention, and I love it. It's a different way of doing things. It's a different way of looking at things. But it's super neat and super cool. So all that just to say, I have not solved all the issues yet with my streaming capabilities, and I'm still old AF, and that's not going to change either. But what is going to change, hopefully tonight, is your attitude towards one very simple thing that we're going to talk about before I go answering all the questions, and it doesn't seem like there are very many right now, and ask the coaches. So we'll start with the lesson. The lesson I want to have is about needs versus boundaries, and I think it's pretty good to start with the definition. And I printed those out downstairs, and I'm completely out of screens. Hold on one second while I go grab them. Yay, so this conversation we're about to have is totally unprofessional, which if you downloaded and printed out the pages that I asked you to, that's why it says at the top, Coach MK's totally unprofessional opinion. My totally unprofessional opinion, that's important. I'm a run coach, not a life coach, but we're never really talking about the running, right? And I don't want to go get certified to talk about your life, so we're going to leave it unofficial, take what you want, leave the rest. So, I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long time, and I wasn't quite sure how to approach it. This tends to be bigger in my Another Mother Runner clients, where in the beginning I knew for these programs to be successful, because my view of not just running, but life is drastically different than that of most people I know or work with. Doesn't mean it's better, just means it's different. So, and if you're working with me, my rules apply. Yay! And this whole idea of boundaries has been really interesting. I remember one phone call I had with the client. So let me back up again. I knew I would have to be as present and in it as possible if this group program was going to fly. And because it's really scary. It's running more slowly than you want to go at any given moment is the hardest thing a runner will ever do. I say that over and over again, and I believe it, and it's one of the reasons why I was in the Facebook groups like a teenage girl. Like, you got a question? Answered it. I'm scared? No, you're not. It was like playing whack-a-mole with everyone's anxiety, and I'm pretty good at that game, because I got a BlackBerry, y'all. I got keys, and I can type like a tornado can move. Fast. So I did that, and I answered all the questions all the time. And if somebody had a particularly bad day or an attitude, not that was necessarily ruinous, but could become contagious and poisonous, because that's what happens with feelings. If you aren't validated immediately, that feeling increases along with a little bit of anxiety along with it. So, I have a bad run, my run was slow, I didn't have a good day. Does that mean there's something wrong with me and people aren't quite meeting where I'm at, or they're saying things that mean really well and they're really nice, but it doesn't calm me down? Then I am amping further and further up. And I knew that I needed to be on top of that before I walk away from a thread 6 hours later, come back and like 17 people are demanding refunds. And that is how quickly things can spiral. I've seen it happen, and I just had to be faster than that. And I was devoted to that and dedicated to that, because not just like because I wanted the programs to succeed, but also because I know what it's like to be that person, right? Running was my thing before I was anything else, and it will be my thing when there is nothing left, when my kids are gone, when my career is over, and when my husband is like, I just don't want to see you anymore. The one thing, and I think I'm pushing close to that limit these past 2 days, the one constant that needs to stay is the running. So I've been in that place where all of a sudden this thing that was part of who I am and the only part of my identity that was left didn't work. And I didn't know what to do. And I didn't have anywhere to go. And I would talk to coaches, and they didn't want to talk to me until I got fit again. I'm like, what does that mean? That's what I'm asking you for. How do I do that? What is the process? Give me steps. I will take them. Hire a trainer. What? I don't have that kind of money, and I don't have that kind of time. I got 2 kids that are 13 and a half months apart. I can tell you one thing I won't be doing for a while. But hiring a trainer is not on the list of things I can do. Help me. I've always wanted to have something that was widely accessible, easily understandable, and very, very practical, widely available to anyone that's in the same place that I was when I went through that stage that frankly lasted until about 2016. When I look back at the mess I was, and make no mistake, if anyone is watching this on my Facebook Live, that knew me in my 20s or in college, they can tell you I was a mess. I own it. In the wake of my rape, which I don't know that there's a good way to respond, but when you're not validated, feelings escalate. And I had a whole lot of feelings and a whole lot of escalation. And I thought what I needed to do is pretend those feelings didn't exist. So I made a lot of choices to not feel things. And that didn't work out too well. I managed to fail up. I look back at that and I think how easy it would have been to stop that spiral in any given moment if I had felt seen or heard or validated. And I wanted, if I can do that for some woman in my totally unprofessional way, with my totally unprofessional opinion, through something that should make you feel good, like a hobby like running, then I want to do it. And if I can get paid enough that my family can bear the cost of me doing it, then I want to continue for as long as possible. And it turns out I like it. I went out and made a point of becoming the coach I wanted to hire, and I continue to do that today. When I think, what would I want right now? I go and I put all the pieces together and break it down and put it apart and put it back together again. Then try to take the most relevant part and put it in Canva. So, because that app is just fantastic. If you've seen anything on Instagram, like I am in there 24/7 now. Like, what can I make? What can I make? Oh, I gotta put that down. Gotta put that down. That's where these handouts that we're about to talk through all came from. But I remember I would say, I had very firm boundaries for myself. I just feel like a lot of people didn't know what they were because it's always shocking when you're talking to someone like me for the first time. That means what I say. There's no passive aggression. There is straight up aggression when required. Here are the rules. Here's the boundary. Don't do this. Try to climb over that wall and you will get shot for the most part. I don't want us to go there, so mind the wall. Thanks. And boundaries are only problematic when you have to enforce them, because when it comes to a toxic person or someone that has been conditioned to think like boundaries don't really exist, just keep asking, ask for more, or they take that phrase ask for more, use it against you and put it in the wrong context, it becomes a disaster. Sometimes it's more work, more effort, and more painful to hold a boundary firm than it is to just let it go. And a lot of toxic people and bullies count on that. And so I'm always surprised because I was bullied really badly as a child. I'm open about that too. Because I'm so direct, because I'm so straight, because there's never any guessing, because I don't want people to feel ever like they're on tenterhooks with me because of something I have or haven't done. I know that can be confusing because it's so rare. It's rare in my life too, believe it or not. So I remember a particular phone call with a woman that I read a comment from her on the Facebook group, one of the Facebook groups, and I knew she was struggling, and there was something I needed to get at, an answer that I couldn't get to online in a public forum, and I knew we just needed to settle it on the phone. So I replied, as I did for many folks, give me a call, I'm free right now, here's my number, because no one likes phone calls other than me. And to y'all's credit, 3 years of handing out my phone number left and right, no one's been inappropriate with it. So thank you for that, by the way. That was a huge leap of faith and trust on my part, and you guys have really delivered in a huge way, and that is really, really, really terrific. But I loved being able to do that and say, hey, I'm free, call me right now, here you go. And this woman on the phone, one of the first things out of her mouth was, and there were tears, I could hear her like blowing her nose and crying, I was right. She needed more than what was happening in the Facebook group. And the first thing out of her mouth was, you don't have any boundaries. And I'm like, well, actually, yeah, I do. I have big personal boundaries. I have rigid professional boundaries as well. Hey, Lisa. And I'm quite clear about what they are. You guys can call me. At first, it was a free-for-all during office hours. I prefer not to take phone calls at night because I got children. I made the operating principles professionally very, very clear. And if I offer a phone call, it wasn't because I didn't have boundary or didn't have boundaries around my time or was worried about burnout. It's like, I got nothing better to do. You need me. I can do it. Here we go. And I've been thinking about that ever since because I get it. That's a different type of boundary. That's a sense of personal boundaries. And you didn't have to, this person did not have to make that call. She did not have to pick up the phone and call me. She chose to do that. So on one hand, yeah, I kind of get it. Like, that's a tough place to be, right? You want to be heard. You want to be seen. But in order to do that, you might have to cross a boundary or do something that you're not comfortable with. Now, I'm not here to force anyone out of their comfort zones. I think you're absolutely fine where you are. I don't think anyone really needs to change. And so I'm always kind of fascinated when we talk about my goal for next year, my New Year's resolution is to change these 30 things about me and come up with these 20 new habits and all these new rules. And I'm like, why? Why? How? So, over time, I've heard a lot about that. I've heard boundaries. I've heard people at the end of their training cycles have said to me, I never used office hours because I didn't think I could. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I never posted in the Facebook page because I didn't want to bother Coach MK. And I'm like, so you didn't use a service that you paid for because you thought that by doing so, I might not be your friend anymore. I'm not your friend in the first place. No offense intended. Love you guys, but don't call me at 11 o'clock at night when you need to ride across town if we don't live in the same town, because I'm a really nice person, but I'm hardly not answering. If you're not my mom or my husband or the closest hospital to my mom, yes, that number is programmed in my phone. My parents are older. Then I'm probably not taking that call in the middle of the night. So, all that just to say, which is, if you're friends of mine and you're local, you're a different story. But for the most part, I'm not a total pushover and I'm not a doormat, and those rules are firm and finite. I am good at troubleshooting, sourcing things, and finding help. And I like being that person that can be relied on in a pinch, but not at the expense of everyone around me. So this became really interesting. And then over the past week and you guys are glorious, by the way, when it comes to the fundraising total now for my old plans, we're at 25,000, and right? And if a big donation, I'm still trying to confirm, is accurate. I've been waiting to hear back from the nonprofit because I'm like, is this for real? Oh my God. Looks like that was a typo. There are 2 extra zeros there. And if it's true, we're close to 30,000. So, yay. You're amazing and I love you for it. And I appreciate it more than you could possibly understand. And that number is just terrific and tremendous. But it's proof that there's a need out there and that we all kind of recognize each other. But the thing that people have said to me more than anything else before I get to the lesson is, MK, I would have asked, but I didn't want to be needy. And I'm like, okay, so we don't know what needy is and we don't know what boundaries are. And my kids don't know what doors are. There's that. Hi. We're live on television. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Now, can you go downstairs, please?
No.
Did you need to go potty?
No.
No?
I just wanted you to come down. What is that?
Yep, that's the work that I'm going to do in a minute. And that's you and me right there. Can you see it? Yay. I need you to go downstairs with Miss Courtney. It's my last night to do this, okay? I love you.
Hey guys. Hey,
Thank you.
stay downstairs. Come on.
All right, so with no further ado, the final lesson from Coach MK. Boundaries versus needs, and why we should do boundary setting for 2019 in a more formal way instead of goal setting. Because when you set goals with no regard, with no understanding truly of what boundaries are, and no understanding of trade-offs, and no real thought. I mean, Reggie does know what pants are for. They went out. He had to figure out what pants were for because he went out to the park with the sitter earlier so I could, clean things up. Okay. So, a boundary, as I have defined it with a design app, is a polite, often loving gesture that clearly defines parameters so that demands and requests can be acceptably made. Crossing a boundary is no big deal. Making me defend my boundary is a big deal. That's when you get to meet Mary Catherine. She's not nice. And she is not afraid to be not nice when she feels threatened or manipulated. I hope you never have to meet her. Coach MK is a little bit different. Now, as for all of you who said, I didn't ask for this, I didn't ask for that, I didn't say hi to you, I didn't get on the phone, I didn't reach out because I didn't want to be needy. Let me make that notion a little clearer for you. Needy is a pejorative term, weaponized against people, usually against women, but it can be used against men too. And that's what makes it so powerful. And when we're talking about patriarchy or toxic masculinity, tell a dude he's being a pussy, he's going to back right off. Call him a girl, and he's going to stop doing what he's doing. That means weaponized, right? So when someone's called you needy, it's because they're effectively telling you to shut up. So it's a pejorative term weaponized against people, usually women, which is what makes it powerful, who have identified and spoken about the one-sided nature of a relationship they happen to be in. It can also be used to gaslight and silence a person who expects reciprocal actions or emotions. Anytime you have a need, wait, you need me to do something? You're so needy. God, that baby needs to be fed again? God, she's so needy. Having needs is normal. I don't think that many needs are abnormal, at least not in my job, and not many demands are, but many needs I think are pretty basic and not that hard to meet. I can't meet all of your needs all the time, and that's when, you know, we've been talking about intersectionality in different aspects of life in the past few years, and this is one where we're pretty applicable, right? Sometimes needs and boundaries conflict. What do? We're going to talk about that. I think a nicer definition of the word needy, one that's a little more honest, would be like someone who wants more from me than I'm able to give. But if I say that, they'll stop doing things for me, so I bitch about their needs rather than talk about the fact that I'm a fucking parasite. The easiest way to get a needy person out of your life is to not take the things they give you, trying to keep you around. It is not hard. You put that boundary up and you don't ask them for things, and it's going to hurt. It might make you feel a little bad. But that person that's being real needy towards you is going to go away. Problem solved. Hashtag life lessons. Enjoy them. Yay! So, this is what are we talking about? Once again, oh my God, she's not talking about running. Yeah, I kind of am. Because this is what the next step is, and you can see it here in Twitch, y'all can in Facebook, because this is why I don't like Facebook Live. Everything comes backwards. It's stupid. Here it does here. If there's a way to fix it, remember, I'm old, I just don't know. Y'all should have told me the first time I Facebook Lived and had this problem months ago. Yay, you! Because I Googled it and I couldn't figure it out. So, Coach MK's totally unprofessional opinion. Boundaries first. Hopefully, I know we got a whole lot of paper pushers in there, people that like paper products and hate trees and want places to put stickers and write in pretty handwriting that somehow y'all got at that good handwriting get in place that I have yet to visit because my handwriting sucks, you guys. So, we're going to fill this out. Boundaries are contingent upon the relationship that you're in and the place and the thing that we're talking about. For example, maybe you're totally good discussing your sex life with your coworkers, but you probably don't want to hear about your moms, right? Same topic, different context, boundary goes up. I will not do this with my mother. I will not do that. I don't mind doing this with my coworker. Me, this is a personal boundary, and this is one we're going to talk about. So, and when I think about the 3 areas of my life where I have different boundaries, broadly and generally speaking, I have my professional boundaries, and that's going in circle 1. I've got my personal boundaries, and that goes in circle 2. And then number 3, we're going to save that and come back to it. So we're going to talk here about the difference. So when that phone call I just told you about where the person said to me through tears, you don't have any boundaries, I assume she was talking to her about her boundaries. Right? You don't ever know what a person's personal boundaries are until you've rubbed up against them unless they've told you or had the opportunity to tell you. Because that boundary is setting you up for a no. Don't come over here feels threatening and a little embarrassing, so you want to back away from the person, which is why we don't talk about boundaries very often until that minute when they're about to be crossed And I can tell you from personal experience, you can go from comfortable to real uncomfortable with a no on a dime, and no means no only works if you can enforce it safely. And I'm a tiny, y'all seen photos of me. I'm little, I'm short. There's very little I can enforce with anything other than my mouth. Yay! I can scare people away. I can really turn them off. I can get them to run. And that is about the only way I can control a situation, because I'm little. Not to say that everyone can or should. It's just the only tool I have at my disposal, and I'm not afraid to use it most of the time. So, when it comes to professional boundaries, those are pretty clear. In the Facebook post I put up for the Romulan Roar yesterday, I said that the goal that I had was I didn't want to be paid. I wanted to be paid so little that no one could possibly, in their right mind, say to me, you need to miss this important life event because a client wants you to. Because I'd been in that position a couple times. Hi, I love you. Yay, I love you. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Awesome. You smell like Park Burger. It's fantastic. You say hi?
Hi.
I'm streaming. I'm teaching.
I got my hair cut.
And RJ lost a tooth. It's a big deal. Can you run downstairs and let me finish this real quick?
I want to stay with you.
Okay, then you need to sit on the bed and be quiet.
Okay.
That's 2 asks. If you can't do both, you're going to have to go.
Sam.
Thank you. All right, so when it comes to things like professional boundaries, for example, when I came into the Train Like a Mother Club, I made those boundaries pretty clear. Phone calls were when I said, I have time, I'll take it. Thank you, sweetheart. Or they'll be limited to office hours. Outside of office hours, and barring me seeing the request and saying, hey, call me right now, don't do it. And that was thank you, we cut that yesterday, and it was a disaster. So that was a professional boundary around, for example, phone calls. I also said when it came to email, I didn't want them. And that's not, and again, don't email me sounds a little like, it sounds rude, it sounds scary, and then you feel guilty when the day comes you have to do it. If you saw, though, my inbox and what it would turn into, because like I've said in previous podcasts, right, y'all fill an email with tales that just go like, I was born in the south side of Chicago in the late 70s, and no one in my family had ever been an athlete. It reads more like a biography, and very little of it is relevant, and almost none of it tells me anything that would help me answer the question that may or may not be layered in the 17 pages that you've written for me. I cannot control the flow of an email conversation, and if you write me 17 pages and I don't acknowledge and respond to every single salient point, it seems brusque, and I've hurt feelings. And I wanted to set this up in a way where people felt supported and avoid a situation where you've spent 2.5 hours perfecting a really long email and then you get a 3-word response from me. Don't run on Saturday. You know, because sometimes the question is that simple. And so the easiest way was just for me to, and then I would be answering email all the time. All the time. I would never be in Facebook. I would never do this. I would never create new content, and I wouldn't get to coach or teach. So seeing as that is like, you've either paid me to answer emails all the time, which means that we would have to cap how many people could be in these programs, or you're paying me during very specified hours to fill certain functions. So I thought we had a really good system laid out then. I stand by that now. And you know, there were the only times that it got weird when I had to defend those boundaries was when when people demanded them. And this is the problem with boundaries and something to think about. So if I take a phone call from one person in the middle of the afternoon, or office hours doesn't work, there's a difference in the tone, right? Between, hey, I'm a teacher, I literally cannot use my phone during school hours, and I'm on the West Coast, so I'm still in school when Coach MK gets out, when Coach MK has her office hours, can we work something out, please? I'm like, of course we can. My mom is a teacher, I get it. There are other spaces, I will do it. What's different, and this is where the demand kicks in, and is, I paid for this program just like a bunch of other people. These hours don't work for me. You will figure it out. Asking for more, demanding more, like, at what you paid, really? You need me to. And I think my favorite was the time someone demanded that I get on the phone with them at 6 in the morning because that's the only time that worked for them. And they were on the East Coast, so for me that was 4 in the morning. And I'm like, No. No. And that was a problem. It's not fair. You serve everyone but me. I'm like, why did you buy into this program or any other without discussing with anyone first that the only time you could possibly take calls is at 4 a.m. my time? I would have been like, this is not the right program for you. There's a boundary there for a really good reason, right? And it's not like I allow everyone to, it's like I will cater to everyone but you. I would probably say no to anybody that really wanted to have a conversation about their running at 4 in the morning that is not in Tokyo, like getting ready for the Olympics. And last I checked, y'all ain't. Love you, but you ain't. Like, there has to be another 10-minute gap in the day where we can talk on the phone. One that works for me, too. Because anyone that has asked me nicely, I've worked with them. Anyone that's come at me and demanded, I'm like, nope. Nope. Boundary is there. And you have not paid enough into this program or into me to have me be really, really worried about you leaving. And that is how I wanted it. So that's a professional boundary, because I've had jobs before where clients paid so much and was so valuable to the firm, it was like, you can't say no. You can't say no. Anything the client wants, you deliver. And I don't ever want to be there again. So when it comes to professional boundaries, they can be easy to set or really hard to set, but it's worth thinking about. Because if you work in an industry where you have no control over your schedule, and you get paid a lot of money, and your clients pay the firm a whole lot of money, and you feel like you can't say no, then you have fewer personal boundaries than most of us, which is going to impede on your personal life and all the stuff we're going to put in the third circle. Okay? So that's professional. Professional boundaries, they are what they are, and you really need to think about what yours are. And when you're looking back at 2018, maybe you're a really terrific employee, but you weren't the mom you wanted to be, or you weren't the runner that you wanted to be. And that's okay, because whatever you worked like a boss, you got things done. You probably got a promotion. Hopefully you were compensated for those trade-offs. But if you weren't, and it wasn't worth it, then instead of saying, I need more willpower, or I need different goals, or I need, what you need are some more professional boundaries. Because if all that time you're putting in it wasn't worth it, we need new boundaries or a new job that's going to allow you to set different boundaries. It's worth thinking about. Moving on to the next one, because I'm not a life coach. I'm a run coach, not a life coach. This is my unprofessional opinion, because all of this will become really clear when we get to the third box. When it comes to the personal boundaries, I don't really care, again, what they are. They're different from person to person. Some people, so when you're in the Olympics, you'll call at 4 a.m. When you're in the Olympics, I will take that call. OMG, it's going to be so great. I'm certain, you know what, Suze, don't worry about it. We've all written those emails and been like, I have paid for this and you will deliver, with righteous indignation. And it's okay. It happens. But that's when we have to back off and say, it's some of it maybe is conditioning, like men are told to demand, women are told to ask. I don't respond to demands from dudes either. Let me tell you, someone comes at me with a demand, I'm like, really? Sucks to be you. Next! Because that's when I really, if you come at me with demands, I will spiral out of control very quickly. I will demonstrate physically and tangibly how little control you have over that situation and this encounter, so that you never talk to me again. And I have fun with that. You should watch. We need to do a whole Twitch stream on me dealing with robocallers or me dealing with solicitations when I'm supposed to be on all the do not call lists. Well, everyone's so fascinated with themselves because we set goals and we care. There's nothing wrong with caring. There's something wrong with not recognizing the root cause of the anxiety that makes you demand to speak to somebody at 4 a.m. their time. Or the chain of events that led you to realizing at the last minute that you had a question that needed to be cleared up before your 6 a.m. run the next day. Right? That is literally not my problem. Oh, the 17-page long part. Again, everyone does it. Everyone does it. And I don't mean to denigrate anyone in any way. It's just like what I kind of want to know is, like, how much effort are you putting out to do your running at the moment? Like, that heart rate, it matters, right? The intensity factor matters. Do you enjoy it? Like the things I need to know, no one tells me. Those 17 pages will not have any data in there that I can use to answer the question at hand. And no one knows it. They just keep throwing more data points at me. And I'm like, mm-mm. And the sky is blue where I live. And when I flush the toilet, it swirls to the left because I'm in Australia. Did you know the toilet did that? Yes, I did. It's amazing. I've been there. Because I used to live in that hemisphere. But whatever. So when it comes to your personal boundaries, they are what they are. And maybe it is, I never miss a recital. Back to the sheet. I don't really know. I mean, I don't really care. Maybe that's it. That is a non-starter for you. I will not take a job or a phone call or attend an event with a buddy. I don't care how important it is to you. If it means that I miss a kid's recital, that's a boundary. We often talk about goals and priorities, but I think your priorities are perfectly in order. I don't think they need to change. And let's talk about your boundaries, because you'll see that implicitly that's where your priorities are and they're fine. And then we can talk about goals for something like running. So let's say you're in a high-paying job with low professional boundaries because you have no control over what your clients are going to demand. What things that really, really matter to you is that you never miss a recital. Maybe it's that you always make dinner. There, you know that bullshit and it's bullshit. I'm sorry, bullshit that started coming out a few years ago about how like the family that dines together stays together and the kids are healthier and thinner and prettier and the moms are happier and have more sex and everybody lives longer and it's just amazing and it all starts with dinner at a table that someone made by their hands. The study that came out of that, again, I'm a little girl from Smith County, Tennessee, that has never turned on a Bunsen burner. And if I can rip your logic to shreds, your scientific analysis is totally fucked. Congratulations. And I got really, really up in arms about that article because if that's what you want to do, cool. But that thing you really want to do is important, doesn't work for every family. So that doesn't mean if you can't do this one thing that is really important to one person who has the authority to write an article and be listened to, that there is something wrong with you. There's not. Very few of us have the time, energy, ability, capability, or even a dining room table. I don't have one. A place for all of us to sit together. We physically don't have it. We're good. I think we're fine. Yay! Right? Gosh, but if that's what you want to do, I'm not making fun of you. It's not what we do. And I'm not convinced that we're flawed. But if that's what you do, and that's a boundary, like I will be home for dinner every night to cook it at 5:30. I will pick my children up from school every day. I don't really care. It's whatever that thing is, but you got to acknowledge it. Maybe you can't do. Yeah, that's why I got rid of my dining table, because we had so much crap on there that we never ate there. It was like bag storage. How about I carry the cheap bag and hang it on the wall? Yay for nails. They look terrible. But I don't really care. Because it's practical. And clearly, the only thing I need to be pretty is my jewelry. So whatever, I don't care what your boundaries are. They're fine. Your priorities are fine. Again, I think I'm as boundaries. Because time is a zero-sum game. And we literally can't do everything we don't need to try. Currently sorting laundry on it, perfect. I don't do that either. I outsource all of that. But that is a separate story. So maybe it's maybe your personal boundaries, and I think 3 are a good number if you're filling out this sheet. 3 professional that you're going to hold to, or that you need to, if these boundaries aren't held, I get salty and hard to work with and start resenting everything that's put on me at work, right? So if you have 3 professional boundaries, I don't want phone calls at night. I want my work to end at 5, and I want the type of job I can walk away from, because in the evening is when I clean out my email after hanging out with my family, watch the Kardashians because I love the Kardashians and I care about keeping up with them, and I don't care who knows it. They are fantastic. If I had half of what Kris Jenner has, I wouldn't need to do any of this. Yay! She's amazing. And you can say it's not work all you want, make fun of and feel intellectually superior all you want. Awesome. Chloe, it's not like Chloe left her job at the UN to do this, but Chloe doesn't ever have to work again. And her mom made that happen. Wouldn't you love to do that for your kids? I think we're all secretly jealous of Kris Jenner, that she was able to create careers for all 6 of her children, manage them, and she could step back but doesn't. I don't know. It's if you really want to hate her, go on and hate her, but all I can do is look at her and say, wow, respect. I have 4 children. if I wish I could make careers for all of them that were lucrative enough to know that I would never have to worry. What she's done, as far as I'm concerned, is fucking magic. And who's going to make fun of that? But I digress. I want to watch them at night. It's a priority. And if they're not on, I want to watch reruns of The Crown. So I need that time every night. And if professional demands are getting into it, I start to resent the job. If people are getting into it, I almost don't want to talk. Like, I say this lovingly. There's a person that always wanted to call me several years ago. At the same time, 9 p.m. every single night. And that time did not work for me because that's I've just finished with my email and now I'm turning into trashy television because I used to watch way worse stuff than the Kardashian show. My brain candy. So I was like, I'm having my brain candy. I do not want to talk to you on the phone right now. But I'm a nice person and we are friends and I'll take this call. Could you call me an hour? Could we have dinner tomorrow instead? I really don't want to talk on the phone right now. So eventually I stopped taking the calls and we stopped going to dinner and we're not friends anymore because that boundary just didn't work for her because it was the only time during the day when she could talk. So there are always trade-offs there. It's unfortunate. But better to not be friends and say, like, we just couldn't make it work than to constantly lower a boundary that makes you resent it every time the phone rings and you know who it is. So, I don't care what your personal boundaries are. You need to identify at least 3. So I don't want to really have to work after 5 p.m. I want to take my kids to school in the morning. Me personally. And I want to pick them up. If I do that, they don't care if they see me at all. Before that, I can do Pilates and go for a run as long as I walk through the door and I'm like, hey kids, it's time for school, stinking and nasty. If I'm the one driving them, all is right in the world. If I'm the one that picks them up, everything's fine. If I sit around all morning and snuggle on the couch and then their dad takes them to school, it's not fine. Why isn't mommy taking us? Mommy always drives us. I don't understand what's going on. It's a thing. And it's a big thing. So, it's our thing. Is it developmentally better? I don't care. What's developmentally better is what makes me sane and them too. And taking them to school. And me taking them to school and me picking them up. For some reason that works. So, you've got your professional boundaries. You've got your personal boundaries. And then we're going to talk about, in looking at that, in that context, until you've defined those, we can't talk about goals. So when people talk about goals and they talk about willpower and talking about needing to push harder and do things differently and resolutions they really need, that I would argue they don't need to make at all in 2019. I'm going to make dinner for my family at least one day a week this year, and I'm going to meal plan and prep, and I'm going to do the Ellie thing. And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. That is a lot. That is a huge mountain to climb. If you were not coming home in time to cook dinner in 2018, what is changing that's going to make that possible in 2019? It's not lack of willpower. Maybe it's boundary. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's not your priority because one reason or another you feel like you can't say no to that 4 p.m. meeting. Or you can't make that 4 p.m. meeting call as you drive home. I don't know and I don't care, but I don't think you're doing things incorrectly. So I would hesitate to haul that out as a flaw or a change going into the new year. And this is what the 3 thing. The third area of my life is running. In years past, it's always been running and nothing else. I don't miss a run. If I run less than an hour, 6 days a week, I'm pissed at whatever it was that got in my way. If I'm not able to train, not like training when you guys like if it's not headed towards if you don't have the expectation of a PR at the end, y'all don't see it as training. I view the world very differently. I just mean in a disciplined way with progression that I can stick to. And I've said in the past in most of in the podcast, and if you have watched me at all and paid any attention to the programs that you paid for, you have heard me say the higher the pressure the more pace work, speed work, if you will, since y'all can't get away from that word speed work, you don't know what it is. Anything faster than an easy effort run to you is speed work. Any plan with speed work in it or pace work, it's not flexible. The more hard running in a given training plan, the less flexible that training plan is, because you can't do 2 hard runs back to back. Missing one day or one day not working out, you got to move the whole thing around. So most of the pros will do that run anyway. They don't say the conditions aren't good, I don't feel good, I'd rather do it tomorrow when I can nail the paces. That doesn't happen. No one cares how you feel. You do that run that day, and whatever it was you did yesterday to make you feel like crap this morning, you don't do that before your next hard run. You don't move the run. Who does that? Us. Because we're not pros. And we can. And we need to feel good. And feeling good matters, because if you don't do that hard workout and nail the paces, you're going to feel really insecure for the rest of the training cycle. So it's easier to move the hard effort run around. And that's usually what I advise people to do. It is not what I let DJ, if you're watching, you got to do that run. I don't care what you drink on New Year's Eve. That's why I didn't respond to your email. All right, so the making dinner is a priority, but the lack of professional boundaries make it hard to fulfill personal satisfaction. So here's the thing, though. If you look back and say, I'm going to make dinner for my family more this year, okay? But you don't have the personal boundaries that would allow that to happen, then you're going to finish the year feeling like a failure. And that's the problem. When you're standing at the intersection of what you want and what you're able to do due to a lack of professional boundaries, you're setting yourself up to feel like a failure. And that is my point, runs from kids. So I'm not saying you can't have that goal. I'm saying maybe we say 1 day a week, or the day when it's most likely to happen, Wednesdays. But if you're saying to yourself, I'm going to make dinner every single night because I'm going to have the willpower to go home from work early, when you don't actually have the ability, the infrastructure to make that happen, you're setting yourself up for failure. That thing that makes you happy, careful before you calcify it into a goal, because if you don't have the ability all the time, because again, if you have low professional boundaries and you got to stay late all the time, then it is folly to say my New Year's resolution is to make dinner for my family, a sit-down meal, start to finish 5 days a week, if you aren't getting home realistically until 6:30 and they've already eaten. That's my point. I don't care what you want. I care that the goals that you're setting for yourself are realistic within the context of your personal and professional boundaries. Okay? So, if you don't have a lot of control, Cynthia, and I mean, I hear there's someone in your home that recently retired, make him make dinner so you can come home. Be like, this is really important to me. I know you've never been home. You've got nothing to do. So go do this. Treat him like a housewife. Treat him like everybody treated you after you had your first kid. You're home all day. I don't understand why you can't do this. My husband loves it when I do that. Loves it. Anyway, I'm drinking a Moscow Mule. What you guys got? Love you more, Sharon Black. So, this is where it all comes, where the rubber's about to meet the road. Normally in a year, when I say my running boundaries, nothing can interfere with my run. My run happens at the same time every day, or it did. In each year, I want to be, my personal boundaries around my running, I want to be able to train for an event and attend said event. And only one. I don't go willy-nilly buying, I'm going to sign up for this and this and this because there's a coupon. And I know a lot of y'all do. That's not my priority. My priority is not using the coupon. If there is a coupon, I will. I do a search for coupon codes when I shop online just like everybody else. But yeah, bourbon and old-fashioned. That sounds great. I can't drink either one, but I hear they're fantastic. And if that's you and the priority is the coupon, that's okay. What I can't do is tell you you've got 10 coupons, you're going to run 10 races, and all of them are going to be PRs. So this is where you have to be like, okay, let's be a little more selective, I would say, in your boundary. Because my boundary is I must run every race I pay for. Then you need to be a little choosy about what you pay for and when you get in. And maybe I keep a blank calendar. Let's see, I think my mom was visiting and we moved everything around in this room. Where did my blank calendar go? Dang it, I just bought it too. Okay, normally, on a good day, and today is neither normal. It's not bad, but it's just not normal. I have a little flip 12-month calendar that sits next to my desk, and when I'm talking through the future, I like to make the future somewhat more tangible and be like, what's going on in November? So that exercise I told y'all to do with Another Mother Runner, the one that was way too long, it was like 11 pages front and back, and I brought it to the Spokane retreat in 2016. Everybody was like, goal setting? What is this book? And I'm like, well, let's think about it. If you're an accountant, you're a CPA, you know when your busy season is. It probably starts in February and ends in June. So we probably shouldn't be in a training cycle between February and June for you if you do personal taxes for individuals. If you're an accountant, don't come at me with like all the fiscal year ends. I know what they are. I used to work on Wall Street. My point is this. Most of us, most any human, we live in a world with industries that are cyclical, meaning you know when your busy season is, unless you're a doctor, and I don't know, I don't know, maybe there are some I had a friend that was an ER doctor for several years, and the reason she left was because it wasn't as predictable as all of her medical school classmates. The jobs that they had, where they knew like busy seasons here, lulls here, this is when I could take a vacation. She's like, man, the ER is just chaos where she lives. So all that just to say that like most of us have something predictable. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that worksheet. I love that worksheet too. Yeah, I took it. Maybe it's too much, but it's too much to put on me as a coach when you come to me and it's like, right, what should my goals be for this year? I'm like, I don't know. What are your boundaries? If I don't know what your boundaries are, how am I supposed to know if the goal that you've set for yourself is going to require you to violate every boundary? Like, oh, you're a doctor? Okay. That's awesome. My friend that worked in the ER then turned around to go specialize in cardiothoracic surgery. She's like, there is a predictable rhythm there. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I've never really gotten the why out of her for that, but she's kicking butt, taking names, and lots of vacations. I like following her on Facebook. So, first brewery outing, that's so cool. That is so cool. Brewery outing for puppies, that'll be fun. So when it comes to the I have the boundaries around my running, and all of those boundaries this year are not going to be applicable at all. They're just not. My year is going to be getting back into the running habit and rehab, because now there's all kinds of things that can get in the way of the running. I wake up, doing something when you are fit is easy. It is way harder to do something when you are not fit. And I have not been fit for a while. I've been in bed for a year. I'm required to do Pilates 8 hours a week. That's a lot. When you add up all the time you spend just running, I have to add that in. Like I have to double it basically. So just to keep my spine from collapsing and to prolong the inevitable, which is total disintegration, I'm going to have to do all of this strengthening for the muscles around the spine, because the bone there can't do the job it was designed to do as well as it used to anymore. So imagine if I hadn't been running by heart rate my whole damn life, where would I be right now? I don't like to think about it. So all of the boundaries around my running are going to have to come down, and so are my expectations of this body this year. Next year, I'm hopeful it'll be a different story, but I can't think that far ahead. All I can say now is, right now there are all kinds of things that get in the way, that the usual rules when it comes to my running don't apply. The boundaries for my professional life were about to get a whole lot higher. So that post that I put up yesterday, a lot of people have, even though I've been so open and honest on every medium, it's like people just deliberately don't read things and then ask questions to see if I'm going to get mad at them, and I do. I've been very clear and consistent. I'm leaving Another Mother Runner because of my family obligations that are going to cause my personal boundaries to go up by a lot. My family's going to need me, and then that's going to impact my ability to deliver a product. So it's better that I go sort this out, hope that it's short term, and then come back when I can promise something that makes me comfortable and happy and that I'm satisfied with, rather than say, let's just hope for the best, try to write it out, disappoint everyone, and then walk away with my tail between my legs making a decision I really should have made back in November of this year. That's how I chose to play this. When I talked about getting rid of my private clients, that was through Lifetime, and if you read the comments, and if you read the post itself, I was talking back to January 2018. leaving this job has been one of the hardest things I've ever done. I remember when I did the first Google search after I found out I was pregnant and discovered Another Mother Runner. It was kind of like this magic moment. And I absolutely loved it. And I've loved being part of the community, even though I didn't listen to podcasts. I still had never listened to a podcast when I met Dimity the first day. I just didn't know how. And I didn't ever have a time or place to do it because I don't commute. But I digress. Yeah, this is hard. This is really, really hard. It's like, there aren't that many coaching jobs out there. So walking away from this, it's like, what am I going to do? What if everything works out and I don't know. And I don't know. And I don't like uncertainty as much as you guys. It's not fun for me to not know or have an idea of what the future is, because my child's future is in someone else's hands. That's a scary thing. But I would rather step back, use all my spare time to work on my spine and try to get my running habit back, and promise as little as possible and deliver what I can for free. That's fun and easy, without the demands that come along with, I paid for this, therefore you should. So what I'm really stepping back from is anyone's ability to say it to me, we paid for this, therefore you should, and you will deliver. So I'm walking away from that pressure, and I'm putting up like a really, really, really big professional boundary. Because remember, what is a boundary? It clearly defines when demands can be made. And I'm taking away the ability for anyone to make demands on me professionally, so that I can be more available to my children and my family and my body. Because self-care and rehab was a full-time job in 2018, and it's probably not going to be less in 2019. So there's that. There's no story. I'm not holding out on anybody. And no, these were not thinly veiled comments, because I don't do those. I all but named the client that demanded a phone call right after I gave birth. Fuck you, by the way. Fuck you. So yeah, like that post was totally separate. That was when, and I dropped, I think my roster, I culled it by at least 85% right before I went. And I didn't have a big roster to begin with. I culled it hard before I started working with Another Mother Runner. And then I culled it a second time before I went on maternity leave. And it's still the best decision I've ever made. So there's that. And this is a step backward from professional demands that I never really wanted to take, but it's one I'm willing to take, because that's where priorities come in, right? My priority is my family, and it has to be. I'm not going to defend it. So when you think about boundaries, you can also think of them in terms of demands, and that's my final note on this page. Boundaries define where demands can be made, right? And they also identify places where demands can never be made. So before you think about the goals, you need to think about your boundaries and people's ability to make demands on your time. Before you start promising up your Kardashians' time, for example, to go for a run. Because if it's like the Kardashians versus my run, the run right now, unfit, the run isn't happening. And you could beat up on me and be like, well, coach, how are you ever going to get fit again with that attitude? I'm like, easy. I'm going to enjoy it. And when you enjoy something, it's easier to make it a habit. When it feels good, you're in the wanna do. It's shaming to live in the should, and it's shaming to live in the should do, and that's my final note on this. Nothing that you should do gets done. Yeah, I know. You're not doing that thing you should do. Yeah, I know I should call my grandmother once a week. God. I know I should make dinner for my kids. God. I know I really just shouldn't drink on a Sunday. Whatever. It's shaming to live in the should. Don't do that shit. And don't set yourself up for that shit by making a whole bunch of resolutions and setting a whole bunch of goals, which is why I didn't call this the goal setting session. We're not setting goals here. We're setting boundaries. And after you set all the boundaries, you will fall in. The goals will fall out of that. As I said in my stream the other night, I'm probably not going to run a marathon next year. I'm hoping that I will have the ability and the time and the capacity and the bandwidth to train for one. But I don't know that I will. So I'm not making that a goal. So that I can't come to the end of the year and say that I failed. My goals, we'll talk about those, I touched on them. And we'll talk about them at a later time. But right now, the goals that I have for myself are very fluid, and they have fallen out of the boundaries that I have to have around my personal time right now, so that I can be as available as possible for my family during this period of figuring shit out for the IEP. Yay! I love you too, Rachel Ryan Nielsen. That's amazing. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But I just wanted to, make that clear, since so many people didn't read the whole post, and I get it. Words are hard, and I don't have a lot of time either. And I use a lot of words, and it's a big old word salad everywhere I go. Words. But you're here for a reason. So, I hopefully, if you read the whole post and, with both eyes, no offense to those that are visually impaired, just like my mom used to say, hear with both ears, right? Like, hear with both ears, listen and really tune in. And she would say that to her classmates, to her students. My mom was a teacher, and she would say it to us. Now that I think that's funny now that I only have one good ear, and I love reminding her of that. She loves it too. She really loves it. So she just got so mad at me when I say these things, and it's fair. It's totally fair. I only have one good ear, Mom. But when you read with both eyes, I guess to continue that sort of thought, when you read with both eyes, you can see I was very clear about what I was referring to in that post. And if you've been watching any of this, can you send me this thing you already sent? Send that information. Oh, fuck that! You busted that. Fuck no. I hope you ignored that. I hope you just deleted that email. Oh my god. So, here we go. Low network connection. I don't know what that means. All right, I'm getting a warning. It's the final thing in our boundary setting session, and that's how I'm going to think about this. Before we talk about goals, we got to talk about boundaries. This is y'all make goals, and I've seen this, and I love you. You're overachievers. You want things for yourselves, and I get that. It's not like I want everything, or I'm a loser that wants nothing and has no goals. There is a spectrum, and you can be somewhere in there, right? It's what do you really want to do? What do you really want to do, and what really matters? Like, trying to keep things in perspective is really important. So that's why when you pull out my super unprofessional, totally unprofessional time budget calculator, realistically, what kind of time do you have? So when I start here, and I know this looks out of order. So I start here, number one, with the budget section, because realistically, I'm up every day at 5:45. And then I start cleaning out all the email I got overnight. So, I'm up, out of my bed, roughly, between 6 and 6:30. My husband's been home for a couple of weeks, so later than that. I take the extra time with him when I can get it. So realistically, on a day when he's gone, a normal Monday when he's on the road, I'm up and out of bed by 6. And Pilates at 7. Kids to school. Run at 9. Or on a good day, 8:45. Home shower. Email. That has me done at almost 10:30. By the time I've gone through my email, between 10:30 and 11. Okay, I only have the sitter until 1 in the afternoon. So my window to do things that I can't bring the baby to, it's from 11 to 2, 3 days a week. That's 6 hours. And let me tell you, if Instacart doesn't have any people delivering that day, if I have to go see Alex Lanton, if I have to see a physical therapist, if I have to, there are any number of things can eat into those 6 hours a week. So the way I look at them, I can't promise those 6 hours away. Those are the 6 hours I need to do stuff. To take the phone calls with the attorneys for the strategy sessions we have to have going forward. To take phone calls with the therapist to make sure we have all the paperwork in order before we start the meetings. To make sure You name it, and those hours, or those 6 hours a week, are gone before I know what happened. So, that falls outside of the budget. Then, because anything after 1 o'clock, I've got to be able, you're not going to have my full attention, because my youngest is not yet in daycare or preschool. So that means I'm on baby duty, and sometimes she naps, sometimes she doesn't. It's very unpredictable. But if I'm promising you something, you are literally at the whim of an 11-month-old. So the time block then from 1 until 3:30 when I have to go get in the pickup line for my oldest, that's it. Maybe I have it, maybe I don't, and that's 5 days a week. Okay. So then, after all the kids are home, like, in bed, and then I stream every night at 7 p.m. And sometimes I get the kids down first, but most of the time all the kids are up and running all around me, and that's okay too. All right? Whoops.
Hi, it's Coach MK. Hi, I've got 2 cameras going in totally different locations now, so this is going to be even weirder than last time. But we're going to get
all right, sorry.
Possible. So, here's the deal.
I'm going to mute that while I download that video. So sorry, I lost the Facebook connectivity, and here I am now. So I'm just going to keep talking here on Twitch, and then we'll try to get on Facebook when we can. I'm going to try one thing. Give me just 1 second, guys, before I wrap up the talk about this over here. Huh. Well, going live is not an option on desktop. All right, that's totally fine. So I'll post that later and just keep going. So when I think about my budget for time, I don't really have that much of it because I stream every night at 7. If depending on who shows up, I could be streaming for 30 minutes. I could be streaming for 2 hours. And then I'm tired because I got to get up the next day at 6. I'm usually in bed most nights at 9 p.m. And that's me relaxing, doing my thing, cleaning out before I fall asleep. So it's easy to look at that and say, well, so I have 6 hours a week for sure. And the rest I'm just trying to get through. So until my youngest starts daycare, and that's going to be this summer, and that's only on a part-time basis, I don't have the ability to train because I don't have the ability to be rigid with my time, any more rigid than I already am, because it's really cold. It was 25 degrees here some mornings, and if I'm not fit enough, that it's like it's an inception. You're so funny. Yeah. Can you show which part of the page you're writing your normal schedule down on? Right there. We're still in section 1, budget. Right, so my budget really, I would say right now, my budget's 0. But it's going to change. So when HRH the Baby Violet starts daycare, that daycare will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with the option of 5 days a week, but we'll see. All my kids have really, really liked the daycare that we participate in, so, and they've all gone 5 days a week. I'm torn, right? Part of me wants to put her in 5 days a week and really get back in shape and get things in order and be super available. Part of me doesn't. Part of me just wants to go, do the mom thing that I've never really, that I tried. I've done the mom thing where I'm just a full-time mom. I've done that. I don't know that I want to go back to it yet. We'll see. All I know is this. I reserve the right to consider that option for a while, and I'm not ready to promise that time away professionally or personally yet. So, to that end, we're not going to talk about later until I know what I'm talking about later. So, getting a schedule is a priority. I'm really sorry. I'm hoping you're able to ask for one. If you can't get one from your current job or your current manager, that's where the goal is about making the changes necessary, right? So I would encourage you, Hime Forcius. Is it okay if I say your name? I know who you are. I'm really careful when people don't use their actual name in their screen name. I assume they want to be anonymous. So acting on the anonymity there. If you're able to ask for a regular schedule, great. If not, What needs to change? It doesn't need to be your attitude because you've accepted here. Yeah, okay, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. If at the end of the year nothing has changed, I don't want you to be able to look back and say, I didn't do it again, I failed, right? What matters to me is you say, hey, I explore my options. I go to HR. Do I need a different job function, a different role, a different manager, a different department, or a different job? Now, I'm not saying go quit tomorrow. I'm saying maybe the change that needs to happen isn't in the form of your priorities or something about you in a bullshit list of New Year's resolutions. But if we're going to make it a priority, cool. That's how I would think about it. Like, I'm going to make this happen. But if you don't have any control over your schedule, but you do have some control over exploring other options. Does that make sense? That's how I would want you to look at it. And it's a slight reframing of effectively the same idea. Different job or promotion, I have to get off nights. I feel you. Nights are tough. I worked nights in a factory when I was in high school. I would never want to do that again. I would not. I'm continually surprised by and impressed by the people that I meet that have jobs that require them to work at night, who did not have jobs that required them to work at night before they went to college. I'm like, you never done that before? I've done that before. I knew I never wanted to do that again. Not that I could have gotten into medical school, but I'm gonna try to get back on over here. Nope. My iPad is just like, I hate you and I need to restart. So let's do that. Oh well. I'll get back on Facebook in a few minutes before, and we'll give this chance to restart. Maybe charge it up a bit. And then we'll get to Ask the Coach, so I've already rambled for a really big word salad. So first talk about your budget and do a calculation. And if you feel trapped, explore the why. Maybe you need different and then go back to the other sheet. Maybe you need different personal boundaries. Maybe you need different professional boundaries. Maybe you need more assistance with childcare. This is the last baby coming out of my body. More childcare is less time with her. I don't know yet. I don't know what the answer is, and I don't pretend to have the answers for any of you. All I can say is if we haven't really considered the boundaries, you might be setting yourself up with an impossible task. I'm going to work less in 2019. I'm going to have less screen time. Really? I'm not. My screen time has gone up like exponentially. Like, what's beyond exponential? Infinite? It's like just that little infinity sign. It's like it's gone up by an infinity sign. That is how much screen time I have now. And that's okay. It is what it is. Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Nights are really awful. Shiny Mechanic, I love what you're bringing to the table here. Nights are just hard. I don't ever know. I talk to people all the time that work swing shifts or 12-hour swing shifts. Lots of nurses, lots of pharmacists, which I had no idea pharmacists could end up having those types of work schedules, but evidently that's the brave new world we're living in. Yeah, I didn't either when I went to pharmacy school. I hear that a lot. And I'm like, okay, so you know what? Maybe this isn't the time then to have a really big goal. Because the problem is if you don't reach said really big goal, you're going to feel like a failure because that's how people look at things. So I will not. You know, okay. 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 Going live again on Facebook. Yay. Okay. We're here in both places again. So we talk about that budget and we realistically see how much time you have. Because if your time is really stretched right now, adding a goal of like, I'm going to lose 40 pounds. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to run a marathon. It might not be realistic if you don't have work boundaries and you could get and an irregular schedule and you could get called in. Maybe the goal we need to have is not about a finish time or an event, but about a habit. I need to not lose the running pattern. I need to not give up on running completely. I need to not give up on myself this year. That's a perfectly acceptable goal. As a matter of fact, I would say that is a good and healthy goal. But I digress. I'm not here to tell you what to do or what to feel. I'm here to make sure that whatever you're using to evaluate yourself, your progress in your future is rational, reasonable, and sets you up for success, not by necessarily having like the highest tee on the ball, but making sure that the tee's in the right place. I mean, you can do everything the super hard way, and you're not actually improving anything. You're just doing things the hard way. Maybe do only some things the hard way, not everything. I don't know. So I do not have these worksheets in a PDF because I made them in an app, but you can print. They print. This one was made, and the other one was made in landscape format to be posters. Funny enough, so yeah, they're on my Facebook page, the Coach MK Facebook page, and then all of the Train Like a Mother heart rate pages. So, but okay, gonna move through this because again I'm starting to ramble. Okay, so section 2 is this one down here underneath the time budget. We identify how much time you have. Like me, it's 6 hours a week, maybe, but not really. So I don't need to go get another full-time job, right? Because I got 6 hours during the workday that I can do that with. And, things I want to do for myself. So, when it comes to the won't miss, things I will not miss. And again, you might find yourself repeating some of what's on the other sheet. So, I won't miss it, number 1, when my son asks me for snuggles. And if you've noticed me on Strava lately, I've not run in 2 weeks. I got really sick. I tried to get back in the running habit. We were getting into a regular schedule though because we were getting the holidays and the school and volunteering and things. But in the morning, it's cold, and in the mornings, sometimes both kids, my toddler and my 5-year-old, have been coming and jumping in bed with me. I'm trying to put off the crying for a bit. Like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna cry. I'm just trying to get through this before that all starts. Because last time I checked, there weren't that many questions in the Facebook pages, so I might. Once I finish this, we'll probably be finished really quickly. Is my point. So things I won't miss when my son asks me for snuggles. So in the mornings, or any of my kids ask me for snuggles. So in the morning, when he crawls in my lap and says, "Mommy, will you snuggle?" Even if I'm in my run clothes, I stop, drop, and snuggle. It's like a 5-alarm fire. Stop, drop, snuggle, and we hang right there, and it's fantastic. And I don't regret it because I'm not in a hardcore training cycle, and I don't need to be. I'm not fit enough to be, and that's why the only goal I'm going to have is to get back into the running habit and hope that I run enough that I can participate in a marathon, and it's not going to be anywhere near a PR, but it's going to be fine. But as long as my son is asking me for snuggles, and I'm not in a hard training cycle where it's like, no, my priority is this run, boundary up, because when you're in a PR cycle, man, you got to say no to things like snuggles. Fuck that. I having snuggles until I'm fit enough again to have, and because when that day comes, by the way, that I am fit enough again to have goals for my body, you know what? My son's not going to want to snuggle with me. And I'm trying not to think about that. He has autism. We never thought he'd want to snuggle at all. When he was little, he didn't want to be held or touched. I would sit him on the ground and he'd be fine. I'd try to pick him up. He'd be like, eh. So any day he wants to snuggle is a miracle, and who the hell am I to be like, I don't need that, thank you. That thing I prayed for changed my mind. Not happening. So I won't miss it when my son asks me for snuggles. I won't miss it when my daughter has a recital. And I don't put her in anything. Recital's the wrong word. Like her school does all these things. Like they have a talent show coming up, and one girl's talent is playing the ukulele while another friend of hers barks. That is not an exaggeration. And my daughter is like, those are my friends, and I'm not in this talent show, but Mom, I'm going to be there to support them, and you're coming too. And I know where she got that. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to clap for a barking girl and a ukulele player. And it's going to be fucking glorious. So my daughter has a recital, and as far as I'm concerned, that's her friend and it's her recital. I'm like, you ride or die. Let's do it for the little girl with the ukulele. So, and when I won't miss lying in with my husband when he's home. And if you remember for some of the other Mother Runner podcasts or the Train Like a Mother podcast, I've discussed that in the past when he was on the road, when he was traveling, and he would be home on Fridays it was really hard for me to get up because that used to be one of my quality workout days. It was really hard for me to get out of bed and go do those workouts because it was the only time we had a sitter in the morning, and it was so tempting to like let the sitter look after the kids and just snuggle together instead of going for my run, knowing that he would have a conference call at like 6:30 anyway. But you know what? I choose the snuggles more and more these days. The less fit I am, the more I want to snuggle. And that's fine. No one's going to want to touch me real soon. Maybe not real soon, but I say give it a year. Snuggling with mom is not going to be fun for anyone. And as soon as it's not fun for Cheyenne, there's a trickle-down effect where, like, nobody's going to want to do it. It's not cool anymore because Cheyenne doesn't want to do it. And hi, Beth. And when that day comes, I want to have gotten, enough snuggles to tide me through until they're teenagers and want to cry for no fucking reason and not talk. So, we'll see what happens. You're giving me the barking kid. I don't know. I think it's fun. That's a talent. She's like, I sound like a real dog. I'm like, and she does. It reminds me, if y'all seen that movie, Drop Dead Gorgeous, her mom is probably watching me right now on Facebook and is going to be so mad. I love that movie. Drop Dead Gorgeous is the best movie, and I'm pissed it's not on Amazon Prime. I think you have to buy the DVD. Maybe you can watch it on YouTube. Oh, but Drop Dead Gorgeous with Kirstie Alley and Kirsten Dunst and Denise Richards and Ellen Barkin and Allison Janney playing. Oh, and what's her name for Cheers? Doesn't matter. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Cheers. Kirstie Alley. So it's about the Miss America teen pageant in some small town in Minnesota and how it's like a BFD. And it's amazing. It's like the best movie ever made, and I'm so mad it's not. Anyway, there's a girl on there that her talent is barking like a dog. And that's all I can think of. It's like, well, if I can't get Drop Dead Gorgeous on Amazon Prime, at least I can get a barking girl at the kids' talent show. Lincoln Elementary. Gonna be amazing. Love you too. Hi, Suzette. That's my daughter's kindergarten teacher. I'm not making fun of anyone. I'm really excited about the talent show. It's gonna be funny. So there we go. When we're looking at the time budget, moving on before I get in real trouble. So Coach MK's time budget. We actually take a critical look at how much time we have to offer up. Then we start listing out it's going to be fun. We're going to start listing out all the things that we won't miss and that we don't want to miss. And my daughter, for example, has asked me to come to this talent show, and I probably won't know when it is because I'm that parent that just never knows when anything is. And then I have to drop whatever's going on to make sure that I can be there at that thing that I didn't really plan for because I didn't completely read the Lincoln Ledger. But all that just to say, the more don't miss things that you have and that you mean, the worse you're going to feel when those things rub up against your professional boundaries. So, another example, I will not miss a single talent show is almost like saying I will handcraft a meal every night for my family. If you're not home in time to handcraft that meal, you're probably not home in time for the talent show. Because the talent shows at Lincoln, everything at Lincoln starts really early. Like, you want the kids there at 5:45, it starts at 6, it's over at 6:40. Which is fine and great, but it's like, if you're not making it home for dinner, you might not make it home for this without a whole lot of notice. So, the won't misses, anything you put on there, you're going to feel really bad about it or feel like a failure if you don't do it. So I'm not saying don't have anything on there. I'm saying don't be greedy. 3 is good. 5 is a stretch. Anything beyond that, I don't know who has that kind of time. But bye, Shadowbug. Thank you so much. I love you too. I appreciate it. Please stay in touch. You guys know where to find me. I'm not disappearing. I'm just stepping away from the ability for any of you to write to management and complain when I don't deliver something because, that one night I don't stream in a program you paid for, you want a discount. I want $3 back because you didn't show up. Because, well, you know what? I didn't show up because I forgot my kid. The talent show was that night and I had to go support. So no, I'm not giving you $3 back and I'm not even responding to this email. So, yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, there is a lot of chaos. And, it goes back to that story I tell about Caitlyn Jenner. That article I read, and I still have it cut out and saved somewhere, and it was really awesome. And it was, she was admitting, and I'm going to get these pronouns wrong, forgive me. I've known her one way my entire life, and my instincts aren't really good talking about her in the past tense yet. So, Caitlyn Jenner is just, I idolized her when I was a kid. I really did. And I remember reading this article, this interview, right after he'd married Kris Kardashian, or after she had married Kris Kardashian, saying, I had a coach tell me you can only be excellent at one thing at a time. And I chose to be an excellent athlete. In doing so, I was a terrible father, a terrible spouse. I was bad, and I was excellent being at athleticism. That's why I won the Olympics multiple times. But I sucked in everything else. And what the coach told me was that the name of the game, you could only be excellent in one thing, but you got to not suck at everything else. There is a line of suckage, and you need to not fall beneath it. And it's hard when you have to be the best in the world at that one thing you've chosen to be excellent in, but not at if you're doing it at the expense of everything around you, you're going to have nothing to retire to. And I kind of really took that to heart. You can be excellent at one thing at a time. My thing right now is to be excellent at momming, and I can't do that unless I'm excellent at rehab. So I got to get over myself and do all these things that I don't want to do or don't like doing. Do you know how I felt when I looked at my husband that day sitting in a restaurant like this, staring down with a prescription for OxyContin in my bag that a doctor had given me, saying, I think I want to go explore CBD because this pain is not getting any better and I'm terrified of this prescription and I don't think it's going to help. Do you know what that took? Like, I did a lot of drugs in my 20s. I've been open about that. I was a trauma victim. I'm not bragging, but I did a lot of things to not feel. And I don't want to go back to those things because of pain. Taking CBD was a big line for me to cross, but thank God I did. I'm in no pain now. I have a teeny tiny bit of numbness in my thumb. I couldn't move my arm, you guys. I couldn't even have it in a sling. It had to be elevated because of the bulging disc. I look back at that and I just think about how lucky I was. Thank God I got over myself, crossed that line. Not to say that everybody should, like, rush out and do it. Not saying that at all. But thank God I explored that line I didn't think I would cross. And I did it so I could be the best mom I could be, so I could be here doing this now. And was it the wisest? I don't know. When I looked at my options, I went out and I found another one. And I don't think I'm ever going to regret that. I know a lot of people that have started down the painkiller path that do have regrets, or started down the surgical path and do have regrets. And I've put that off a little bit longer. So all that just to say, sometimes the lines that we have aren't the ones that we need to hold on to. So when we think about the things, the time that we have and the things that we don't miss, then we can start making the wish list. Because when you guys come at me with goals for the year, they look more like the wish list that my kids made for Santa Claus. They are long, they are egregious, and they are not going to fucking happen. They're just not. I love you. I want the best for you. I want you to have whatever you want. But fuck if I'm buying every toy on that list, and that list of like 30 goals or even 12 goals, one per month, that's a lot. That's a lot. 12 habits, one per month, that's a lot. I really don't think it matters what else you do if you muck up raising your kids. I mean, she was living proof of that. Look at her kids. Oh my God. Anyway. When it comes with the want to do, what I want to do is one, rehab. I want to keep rehabbing and I want to stay rehabbing. 2, I really want to get back in the running habit. 3, I want to sort out my son's IEP. Stop at that. I want that to be to bed at some point so I can walk away from it, because we can't live in this forever. It's too stressful for the family. Number 4, I really want to work on my connection with my husband. Now, I say that, and it sounds dramatic. Our marriage is not in trouble. We are not in trouble. We're good. But a year in bed was stressful for this whole family. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be there. It was kind of stressful for me too, and they all know it. But it wasn't easy for anyone. And we're still coming back from that a lot, and we're being very conscientious about taking time to be together and talk, because a lot of the time, the free time, the downtime that I've had the past 2 years has been taken up with responding to things on the Facebook page for any of my training programs. And I'm really looking forward, as much as I love supporting you guys, I like this mechanism better of opening up the window and saying, hey, you come to me. I'm here, I'll be here for a couple hours, let's chat, as opposed to what was happening before, which was here, oh my God, she missed something, she hates me, I don't know why, it's not fair, I paid for the service too, why would she respond to her but not me, my feelings are hurt, in an email. And maybe it doesn't sound that way, but it reads that way. That goes to my manager, and that I have to answer for. And you know, I don't intentionally hurt anyone, but y'all got to give me some grace. So to be able to walk away from the demands is good, and to have this set up, maybe I miss a comment or two, all you have to do is type it back in, and someone will be like, hey MK, and we'll fix it. I like being here where I have a little more control over the failure points. I can go back and scroll in the chat here. I can go and scroll in the chat over here. It's right in my face. I can go see this in the chat in front of me. I'm missing very little while it's happening, and does feel a little bit like being in a conversation. So if you think of it as a window that I get to open at will throughout the day, it works a lot better for me, and I can spend those moments where I'm with my husband and actually talk to my husband, as opposed to being like, wait a second, let me just answer this person on Facebook. I'm sorry, I know I've said that before, but she keeps responding. And that's what would happen. I would think I would fire off a response, and that would be the one time I'm engaging with the person that like keeps responding, and then our date is him watching me on my phone. So since I've learned that this is a very intense connection, and I want it to be, and I like it to be, it's the connection that I wanted when I was on your side of the table. I need to find a way to make it the best possible experience for everyone. And that's only going to happen if I truly do what I want to do, and that's step back and get my family sorted, get my body sorted, work on reconnecting with my husband in a way that I really haven't in 3 years, and make sure that he feels like the cracks in my schedule are now being devoted towards him a little bit. Nothing bad is going to come from that. So it's not, and because it always sounds really dramatic, or that's what we hear when we say we're working on our marriage. People are like, oh, you're in trouble. It's like, no, I'm changing my focus. That's it. So my focus is on my family. Not that my family is under fire or threat. I just know that my extra bandwidth, at least in the short term, needs to be towards those closest to me that I'm tied to for life. Rather, who legit can, and then limit the ability for everyone else to make demands and be really angry or really hurt when I don't meet those demands. So there's that. So be careful with your wanna-dos, but those wanna-dos and the need to make sense. So when you think about your budget first, and then you won't misses, the wanna-dos, it'll be really easy. If you were to treat it like a wish list, because all y'all will, that's why it got the biggest section, and you get really greedy and you put whole lots of stuff in there, it'll be really easy to knock it out. Well, okay, maybe I don't really want a meal plan for 4 hours every Sunday, and maybe, you know what I spend on Instacart is worth it. And I know this is a very privileged conversation, but there are trade-offs everywhere for most people. Most people that are part of these training programs, and historically have been, I'm not saying like, y'all rich, but I'm saying I'm not training any people that are working second shift in a factory that I'm aware of. I'm happy to. So I realize that a lot of the advice I'm giving you sounds really privileged. But at the same time, just because you enjoy a little bit of privilege in your life, it's not a bad thing. It's not something you should feel guilty for. It doesn't mean we need to fill your budget with like working in soup kitchens. But it does mean that we need to recognize it. And recognizing it means like, I have choices. I have some choices. And in those places where you don't have choices, do you have the ability to make changes? Do that. Do that rather than creating a big list of goals that are actually going to turn into a big list of demands on yourself and your time and your sanity that, if they aren't met, become a problem later because they become failures at the next turn of the calendar. Because all I really want is for you to have everything you want. Oh, thank you. The person that just sent me a private message, we do. We have a whole team, a legal team right now. We hired a whole, we've been meeting with attorneys since the beginning of October, getting all of our paperwork in order. So yeah, we don't have one, we have 7. You have to leave work now and go pick up my daughter. We'll drop a line here and there to say hi. Please do. It's never a goodbye. I'm going to be here and I'll still be. And let me know. I'm going to be sending out a survey in a couple of days saying like what would be like, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. The new program's coming out and I'm not going to be charging for things, but I'm totally happy to show up from time to time if there's a question to be answered that you would want to hear my perspective on or a reframing. So instead of goal setting, we have a boundary setting conversation, right? That's a different way of effectively getting at the same thing. Not to say that your goals are limited, but rather let's limit the goals we try to pursue and like fit it within the framework of our life and our demands. And rather than blaming ourselves for not having the right priorities or willpower, we just acknowledge the boundaries first, right? If you need a kinder, gentler view on something, I'm totally happy to come here and talk it out again. Just let me know. But keep an eye on the Facebook page. That's where the survey will go first. If you already received my Nuzzle newsletter, I'll probably put the link in there too. But thank you, Marty. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to I want you to have whatever you want, and there's no reason any of us should walk through this world feeling like shit, feeling like we're failing, feeling like we're doing anything wrong. The things you want are fine. None of you are losing in any way. You're really not. I mean, and if someone is making you feel that way, fuck that person. Have less of them around. That's the answer. And if what you want is a little more MK, we can find ways to make that happen. Probably here, definitely on Twitch. I'm still going to be streaming. If you haven't subscribed to my podcast yet, go do it. Morning Mantra. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere podcasts can be found. Thank you. I think I will have everything I want, but it's just going to take a little time to get there. And that's okay. That's another thing about goals, right? We can't put timelines on them. And I get mad every time I hear some like self-help guru say that, like a goal without a timeline's just a wish. And I'm like, fuck you. Hi, not you. I love you.
Can I go in your bed tonight for like a little bit?
Of course you can.
With you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna watch TV? What are we gonna watch?
I was thinking the Santa Claus.
Oh, see how smart she is? Look here. This is a smart girl. This is how you get a boundary to fall, y'all. You make sure that movie you really want to see is your mom's favorite movie. Right? That's how you get to yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are also other grown-up movies I like. Not just besides
that's how smart she is. She likes some grown-up movies too.
Like 13 going on 30.
Totally a grown-up movie.
Jingle All the Way.
Fever Pitch.
Fever Pitch. Elf.
Elf's totally a grown-up movie.
I love it.
Alright, give me a kiss. I'll finish it and come down. Mwah!
Or can I stay on the bed?
You can stay on the bed, but you gotta be quiet.
Got it. I'll tell Miss Courtney.
Okay, you tell her. Now! That was my lesson. You are coached, you are loved, and you are winning at life. Especially if you're not setting yourself up for disappointment and failure by making a self-improvement list without acknowledging first that nothing about you needs to be improved in the first place. You are perfectly made. That means you're whole. You are complete. There is no part of you that needs to change or be better as far as I'm concerned. If there's a direction you want to go, I will point you there and we'll find the next best step together. But no, I don't think you need to lose weight. And no, I don't think you need to pick up a new hobby. And no, I don't think you need to do anything differently because I don't think you're losing. Your priorities are great. You adult like a boss. You get things done. You probably have health insurance or access to health care. You know what? And I think if you're dating someone who doesn't, just saying, have a good talk about why. I was taught my whole life. I remember I was raised without health insurance. Spent most of my time in a cardio rehab clinic with my dad following a quintuple bypass when I was 6 years old. Okay? The only thing I was taught that an adult is supposed to do is have health insurance, and I have that, so yay! My podcast is called Morning Mantra. If you do a Google search, Morning Mantra, Coach MK, it's the first hit. So, yes, I think you're amazing. I always have. And if you don't, you're looking at yourself incorrectly. Talk to me and we will work that out. You are coached. You are loved. You are winning at life. I'm going to put the link to my mantra here. Then we're going to play Ask the Coach.
Yay!
One last time.
Ask the coach. Play Ask the Coach? How do you,
I produce it 6 days a week.
how do you play Ask the Coach?
You have to be a paying member of one of my heart rate training programs. And then...
I run a lot.
I know
with
you do. I know you do.
That's kind of like from one of your heart training.
And there it is in the live stream. So, okay, so the link now should be coming up in both my live stream. Oh, thank you. Everyone likes your hair.
I got a haircut.
Yes, Grandmama cut it yesterday in the living room, didn't she, right?
Yeah.
Yay! Well, good done, girl. Thank you. It is time for the final Ask the Coach. I was going to do this live. I was going to try to go live into each individual Facebook group on my iPad, but I'm running so low on battery. We're just going to let this ride. I'm afraid if I touch it, it's going to die as it is. Here we go. Susan, if you're here, there's your stream marker on Twitch.
Train like a mother.
Yep.
Heart rate.
You were wait, what was our deal? Yep. Gotta wait. Beth says, can I love and sniff at this post? Thank you for the past 2.5 years. Thank you, Beth. Love you. Oh, get out of that. You're supposed to get on the bed. Supposed to get on the bed. Get on the bed and be quiet. This isn't going to take very long at all. Hi, my name's Coach MK Fleming of Another Mother Runners Train Like a Mother Club. That's www.trainlikeamother.club. And this is the weekly segment known as Ask the Coach, where I answer all the burning questions in the hearts, minds, and Facebook pages of my runners. Right now, we're about to enter the segment known as Heart Rate Bag of Speed. That is my development program between 8 and 12 weeks long. That was designed to show you that your bag of speed is still in there by working on strength. And there are no questions. Yay! I told you this was going to go fast tonight, you guys. Susan, there is your marker. Here we go. Final time. Hi, this is Coach MK Fleming of Another Mother Runners Train Like a Mother Club. This is www.trainlikeamother.club. Tomorrow is my final day with Another Mother Runner, but the Ask the Coach feature will probably continue, just not in this format. I like live video a whole lot more than I like typing. Yay! Lots of reasons there, but I'm answering all the questions in the Minds, Hearts, and Facebook pages of my runners, and right now we're about to attack Heart Rate Training Half Marathon. Barbara, I wasn't sure if we could still post questions on Facebook, but here goes. I've missed 6 training runs due to a bad head and chest cold. Week 8 of Amazing has passed me by, but I think I can do the first easy effort of week 9. How do I ease back in training? You've only taken a week off. I think you're good. So my advice, Barbara, is go out there with the intention. Let me back up. If you can't breathe, you can't run. So if you wake up and there's a feeling in your chest like there's a dead baby sitting on it, if you can't breathe through your nose, you might be okay. But if there's a rattle in your chest, if your ears hurt, if you have a fever, you know what? Again, we're not going to Tokyo. We're not in the Olympics. Not worth it going out there. If it's going to be carrying a higher risk of getting worse, stay in. Walk if you can. Do it indoors. Stay out of the cold. One day out of the cold is not going to crush you. one day of killing your immune system, that could set you back by a whole nother week. Let's avoid that. So make good choices. Take vitamin C. Take a nice hot shower. Lots and lots of steam. Shut the door. I mean, go crazy in the way my husband hates, where he says I'm like killing the wallpaper and whatnot. Whatever. We don't have wallpaper. I'm saying, go in there and create a steam room if you have to. Clean it all out. See how you feel in the morning. Take it day by day. I can bring you back from an injury. It's or from a week off from sickness. No problem. That's going to take that will be a lot faster than coming back from something chronic or trying to train through something chronic. Let's not push it. Let's not take big risks. Okay, you're worth it. Warm liquids. One day, better 3 more days off now than 3 weeks off 3 days from now. Do not ever forget that. I'm going to meme that and put it somewhere for you guys to hold on to after I'm gone. Better 3 days off now than 3 weeks off 3 days from now. Okay? One more day off is no big deal, but go ahead and pick up wherever you should be in that plan. If you're missing more than 3 weeks, that's when we need to have a talk, not just about training, but also about expectations for race day and lowering them, because 3 weeks off is a whole lot to miss if you're not rolling from training plan to training plan with a really solid maintenance plan in between. And most people aren't. Meg, another question for your thoughts. Is it okay to train without racing? Yes! Yes! OMG, I don't need y'all to race. How many times have I said that? I don't need you to race. Y'all are the ones that are like, well, if I'm going to race and I'm going to put the money down, then I have to have a goal. And I have to have priority. And I have to care with capital C and capital A. It's got to be all caps care. All caps care. PRBS. And I'm like, man, no, it doesn't. So, yes, I love where your head. It is totally okay to train without racing. I'm not sure. I love the race itself, but I'm worried that I would lose motivation without the pressure of the race day. Thoughts? Thanks for coaching and loving me. So, number 1, I don't need you to race. Number 2, you are easy to love. This is a privilege. Thank you for letting me be your coach for even a little while. Okay? 3rd, pressure. Do you remember that story about pressure turning a lump of coal into a diamond? That was a really great quote from an awesome movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but it is a lie. That is not science. That is not where diamonds come from. Okay? Pressure doesn't do anything good other than it can put you in the should do. I really should care more. I really should do more. And it's shaming to live in the should. Anything that you should do is probably not going to happen. So let's live in the gonna do and the wanna do. And it's good to be on a training plan because you're not going to stop. If you can't stop without the motivation of a race, fine, sign up for a race. But also understand you're putting a whole lot of pressure on a day that you don't care about from the start. So when things start to get in the way and things go wrong, it's easy to say, I don't really care about this race, and then show up and be disappointed with the result. So whatever it is you do, all I ask is that you are clear and consistent every step of the way. Because I don't have a lot of patience for it. When clients are like, no, I totally don't care, cross the finish line and suddenly care a whole lot, and I'm sure the new coaches, I don't want to speak for them, but I bet you they're even less patient than I am about that stuff, even if they don't say it out loud and use a lot less profanity. Thereby, that's passionate. I'm a very passionate person. This is how I roll. Large, in charge, and very, very loud. Right, Cheyenne?
Yeah.
Yeah!
I found some, one card about Whitney and one card about, I forgot.
We just took down our Christmas cards.
And, I got one.
Carter and Cohen.
Carter and Cohen. I
Yep.
want to have a play date with them, and I want to have a sleepover where.
Yeah, see, even these Christmas cards have even turned into a list of demands. I want to have a play date with this person. I want to have a sleepover with this person. Mommy, sort it out. I love you. Guess that. I'm almost done.
I'm just looking at the pictures.
You're so much fun, Cheyenne. I love you. Okay, Meg. So last minute. So sorry, Meg. To answer, there you go. If you really think that you would lose motivation without a race, then ask yourself, why am I doing this? Because if you're not really caring about that race, the second something gets in the way, it's like a downward spiral. It's all going to go downhill, and you're going to feel like you failed even when you didn't. And who wants you to succeed? This girl. Last minute coaching nerves. Since my pace is so slow, 18 to 20 minute miles, should I increase my time to make sure I get enough distance in? Currently week 11. My recommendation is no. Do extra strength. Always extra strength. More time on your feet is more likely to lead to injury. More strength is more likely to shield you from injury. The answer is always more strength, not more running. And that is it with the Heart Rate Half Marathon. What, honey?
If you look in this picture, their little brother is chewing on their
Yep.
sheet.
Hi, my name's Mary Catherine Fleming of Another Mother Runners Train Like a Mother Club. This is www.trainlikeamother.club. Tomorrow is my last day, and this is my final Ask the Coach, my Sunday night mainstay, where I answer all of the questions in the burning hearts, minds, and Facebook pages of my runners. We're now about to enter all the questions listed in the Heart Rate Training Marathon program for the last time. Julie says, thank you for all your help. I'm in my taper for dopey. I've had trouble with my resting heart rate increasing by 30 throughout training. Since starting my taper, I'm exhausted, sick, and struggling to get my runs in. How do I approach the remainder of my taper? My approach is this. Take it easy and take the pressure off as much as you can. You are a badass. You are doing badass things. Dopey is a really big deal. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of running. Yeah, and generally speaking, people just go straight to dopey. They don't take the time to train for like 10K half or even a full before they just say, I'm going to do a 5K, 10K half and full all in the same, period, whoop, 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 and that's amazing, but we can't show up and expect to dominate. What we need to do is try to get through the training and not fucking die, because the training for a 5K, 10K half and full back-to-back is more than what you would do for a full marathon on its own. Okay? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of scary work. So understand, you're a badass. You got this. It's going to be fine. All you need to do is not push yourself so hard that you get injured or sick or for some reason can't go to dopey and feel like the badass you are for biting off more than you can chew and managing to swallow anyway. I hate when my kids do it because I'm like, I can't say you just bit off more than you can chew, and they're like, watch me. Be my toddlers. Prove me wrong and prove you wrong. You're going to be okay. Yeah, your resting heart rate's really high. You're in the taper. Okay? It's normal. You are doing more work. You probably just passed through Hell Week. Dopey is exactly, I think, not even 10 days away? 9 days away? 9 days away. I'm not looking at my calendar because it disappeared. So, we're very close to dopey. We're in the taper. We're at it. The hay is in the barn. Don't set the barn on fire and you're going to be fine. Your heart rate, your resting heart rate will not fall again until at least a week after your race date when you're ready to start walking again. And it'll plummet. So you say it's up by 30. I would expect it to stay there until after the race. It would start to fall a week after the race, down maybe like 15, maybe not. It'll fall a little bit and then plummet the week after that. So you got time and you're fine. And you're coached and you're loved and you're winning at life. It's going to be good. Do not push yourself. Any pushing at this point is going to do more harm than good. Don't set the barn on fire. Karen, you're fucking amazing, Coach. Thank you. Love you, Karen. You're going to do great things this year. I promise. I know you're worried. I know you're scared. I know a lot of you are. I'm not dead. Come say hi. A lot of you bought training plans, and there's the final hours of that are still going. They're taking away my email address first thing in the morning, so get it in tonight. All right? And by tonight, I mean before I go to bed. You're going to do amazing things. You were capable of amazing things before I came along. You always were. You are perfectly made, and I am so sorry it took this long for someone to tell you that, and I am so angry that I was the first. You are amazing, Karen. Good things are coming your way. They really and truly are. You've got to believe it too. Okay? You need to believe as much as you are loved. Yes, your resting heart rate will drop after the race because you're about as trained as you can get, which means you're actually in an overtrained state that's going to start to taper out through the race day. Your resting heart rate will stay high until you have recovered from the race itself. But you're going to be okay. Julie, according to my week 18 EAT, I could run a marathon that would be a 30-minute PR. Right, and that's critical. Before I read the rest of your question, you could run a marathon that is a 30-minute, but will you? Probably not. When it comes to an endurance event, you're making a bet with every step that what you feel now will be okay later. Make the most conservative bet possible in the early stages of the race, especially if you care about the time. That is sounding way too ambitious for me. Good for you for recognizing that, because remember, what is the EAT about? It's identifying that line, past which that is not a good idea. It is not a thou shalt. It's not a tightrope to walk. They are railroad tracks to stay between. Those lines on the road that keep you from falling into a gully, especially if you're going over Loveland Pass. If you've been in Colorado and you've been driving lately, thank God for those lines on the road. That is what the EAT is. The lines on the road designed to keep you from blowing up or falling down the mountain. Especially since it is Disney, and I've taken to heart your advice about just enjoying it and taking a lot of the pictures. But in figuring out a race plan, the EAT plan is actually more conservative than the non-EAT plan. I want to try the EAT plan. I think it will keep me from going out too fast and help me conserve energy. I think you need to go with the plan that you trust. The only difference between the EAT and the non-EAT/generic plan was the presence of biometric feedback. Meaning, we make shit up all the time. How much free time you have in a week? At least 10 hours. Hey, not at all. So, how fast do you think you can go? You probably made that up too. The EAT is there to challenge those notions. When you say to me, my race pace for this marathon is a 9, but your C pace on the EAT is a 9, then guess what? Your race pace in that marathon is going to be slower than 9. And that's okay. It's the only gut check I have that you can execute on your own that lets me know if your expectations are totally diluted. So congratulations! Yay! Your expectations are not totally diluted. And you're going to be in Disney. What's the worst that can happen? You hit the wall and have to walk through Disney? Wouldn't you pay money to do that on a Wednesday anyway? Without hitting the wall? Cool. I mean, your worst case scenario is still you in Disney with funnel cakes and places to sit and bars. There is nothing about this scenario that is bad whatsoever, unless you really want it to be. Set yourself up for success. Pick the plan that you trust. It's not what to do. It's what not ever to cross. It's me on your shoulder saying, that is not a good idea. In those moments when you're like, my heart rate is 182 in the first mile. No! My heart rate is 165 at mile 4. God, no! Okay? That's what it's supposed to be. And if you remember that, it doesn't really matter which plan you're on, then you're going to be okay. Because if you see what your 5K pace could be in mile 5 of a marathon, you're not on track for a really good day. Just the opposite. And that's what it's about. This program was a lot to take in. It was really comprehensive, but none of you really know how to race. And I learned that the hard way. When you say I ran out of energy at mile 20 and hit the wall, what's actually happening is you're executing your race poorly. So I've tried to teach you how to train, run easy, and strategy for race execution all in one program. And maybe that was too much, but I can't have you going out there and saying heart rate training doesn't work because I hit a wall. You hit a wall because you didn't know what you were doing, and that's okay. But you, Julie, know what you're doing because you're coached, you're loved, you're winning at Disney, and you're going to have a terrific day because you're going to follow the plan that you trust. Allie, I'm swinging into week 17 and feeling pretty good about my race at the end of January. I'm going to EAT next week and then decide on a race plan after that. No time goal for this one other than finishing because the course closes, so I'm feeling pretty relaxed. Good. Training has been pretty consistent other than a few days off here and there for sickness and moving. I'm doing my local race, so I'm also pretty relaxed about the logistics. With final words of advice with Shoulder MK roar into my ear for the last 4 weeks. You got this. That's it. That's what I'd be yelling at you if I was sitting on your shoulder. Yes, you can. Of course you can text me to tell you how the race went. I'm pissed that more of you haven't. That was an order from your coach in the PDF. Everywhere. I gave you my number for a reason. The one time I asked you guys to reach out, the vast majority of you didn't. So yes, text me and tell me how the race went. I want to know. Most of the halves don't have tracking. Most of these teeny tiny marathons y'all do all over the country, they don't have tracking either. I have no idea how you did. None. Until you post it on Facebook and tell everyone later. Why wouldn't you tell me first? Please tell me first. Yes, please text me. The final words of advice would be like 1, you got this. 2, trust the plan. If you don't trust the plan, reach out. We'll get you a new plan. I can't make all your anxiety and fear go away, but what we can do is trust your training. If you've done everything you could have been asked to do, if you have done everything that you were willing to do, maybe you didn't do all the strength, but you got the snuggles on Monday morning, then congratulations, you made it through this entire training cycle without giving up a single snuggle. Yay, you! Who gives a shit about the finish time in that context? You're looking at it incorrectly. I'm happy to speak to you on the phone. Tomorrow's my last day. I will talk to you tomorrow if you want to make sure your head's on straight, but I'm telling you, you got this. You got this. Every choice you've made is the right one. And I'm proud to be your coach. Anna, shoes question. I have about 200 miles in my current running on Cloudflyer. Yay, I love those. And my race is in March. Should I be able to use my shoes I'm training in, or do you think I'll need to look at getting another pair before the race day? And any words of advice for the last half of my training plan. So, okay. Comes to shoes, Ons last forever. On Clouds tend to be really, really terrific shoes in the beginning. Yeah, I can't wait for you to text me either. It's going to be great. So when it comes to, just a minute, I'm almost done, I'm so close. When it comes to on cloud racers, they tend to last longer than your normal shoe, in my experience. Therefore, I don't think you need to run out and get a brand new shoe. And also when it comes to like so many miles before you replace them, that's based on old science from most of those tests were conducted a long time ago. Rubber has changed since then. Fabrics have changed by then. Manufacturing standards have changed since then. So holding hard and fast to a number, I really wouldn't do that. Replace the shoes when they don't feel good anymore. Replace the shoes when you start getting like a little pull in your post-tib area. That's right here. When you start feeling it like about 2 inches above your ankle, when you start getting shin splints, when your feet don't feel good, when your knees don't feel good. Thank you. I was wondering, this is the calendar. If y'all been watching since the beginning, this is my little calendar.
I just found it under all the notes.
Under all the notes. Thank you. That makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, don't stress about the shoes. Replace them if they don't feel good. If that's too close to race day, when you put them on and say, "Ooh, those don't feel nice at all," reach out, let me know. We'll talk it out. But it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Your problem on race day is probably not going to be the shoes unless you've been ignoring red flags for a really long time. I have raced in brand new Ons before. A really well-made shoe doesn't take that long to break in. It can't hurt, though, if this is something you're really worried about. Because remember, we got to balance physical versus mental injury. Mental injury is more devastating in the non-elite runner than it is in the elite population. So what I worry, because you guys have anxiety that they don't have, because they do all their training runs. You guys have life get in the way. You don't do all the strength. Things are kind of optional. Things will get moved around. And then you wonder legitimately, am I undertrained? And you probably are. But you're not out there competing against Shalane. You're showing up to have a good time, a good day, and bring out the best in yourself and be like, you know what? I did part of the training, but I got all the snuggles. Win. And that's how you need to look at it. So shoes are going to be the last of your problem. If you're really worried about it, though, buy a second pair and start rotating them on your long runs, and you'll be ready to go either way on race day itself. Kelly, so my words of advice for you is the same as it was in the previous note. Do what you can and don't worry about what you can't control. All you need to be able to do is look in the mirror and say, I did everything I was willing to do. Not everything I could have done, because boundaries and abilities and wanna-dos, right? So I lived in the wanna-do. I adulted like a boss. I did what I could, and I'm going to be, no matter what happens tomorrow. I have fought the good fight. I have tested myself, and tomorrow it's going to be what it's going to be. Okay? That's what matters. Being good in here. And I am proud of you. And I've been proud of you ever since you started. Okay, Kelly, I'm doing Dopey in less than a couple weeks. Bless your heart! I'm thinking of doing a spring half and wondering how much time I will need to recover and then train. Is late April, early May too soon for a properly trained half? No, all you need to do is not stop. If I were you, coming out of Dopey, as long as you're not injured and you're not totally burnt out, take a week off completely, take a week to ease back in. Don't go into anything too hard. Anything stiffer than the monthlies is not a great idea. But yeah, we could absolutely roll to another half. What we can't do is go from performance from one cycle to the next and expect nothing bad to happen. Or only run 3 days a week and expect to be able to race whenever we want to. Chances are you're going to be okay. So, I mean, if you wanted to do Princess, I wouldn't say no. But, like, late April, early May, yeah, you're totally fine. If you're coming out of Dopey, as long as you don't stop or take off more time than you have to, you can be totally, like, race ready. I'd say max 7 weeks. And that's, like, only to make sure that you're recovered if you show up and decide to race it. Seems like a lot of spring halves around that time. I would like to perform well, so if it's longer, need to pray it's okay. Yeah, I mean, if the race you're asking me about is the one that you care about, and I'm guessing it is, me trying to tell you to go find a different race to care about is moot. So yeah, show up and do well. You can totally show up at late April, early May and do well. Right? That is not unreasonable. As long as you come through Dopey feeling okay, and you're happy with where you're at, I'm not going to fuss, and you shouldn't either. It's going to be fine. Also, thank you. You have no idea how much you've changed the way I think about not only running, but so many other aspects of life. We'll truly miss you and train like a mother, but so excited there are other ways I can continue to get my Coach MK fix. Me too. Me too. And that is it for Train Like a Mother.
Is it done?
Heart rate marathon. Nope, I got one last one, baby girl.
Monthly training?
Yeah, the monthly plans.
Oh no.
Susan, here's your stream marker. Hi, my name's Coach MK Fleming of Another Mother Runners Train Like a Mother Club. That's www.trainlikeamother.club. This is a weekly segment known as Ask the Coach, where all of my runners fire up their burning questions, everything that's tearing up their hearts, minds, and Facebook pages, and I put it all to rest with one big video. Yay, you! And thank you for being here one last time to experience the glory with me and my Moscow Mule. Since I'm not training for anything, I might as well drink. Misty, I've truly loved working with you. Thank you so much for this year of engine building and heart rate training. Helen, today is my 2-year MK anniversary, and I've grown and changed so much. Your support is one of the kindest, greatest, most meaningful things I've ever received. Thank you for every moment, even the ones that were, she wants me to do what? And then I did that thing. I can't wait to send you emails for my victory lap for the adventures I'll do in 2019. Please do, Helen, and when you do, my email address is coachmkfleming@gmail.com. All one word. Trisha, I'm also coming up on my 2-year MK anniversary. I've run over 1,400 miles with your coaching. Wait, not now. I love you, but not now. When I started, I could only imagine being a 5-day-a-week runner and a half marathoner. My running has improved so much, and the consistency you've helped me to achieve is translated into all areas of my life. I'm a better, happier person because of you. I'm going to keep working those monthly plans because they're still so fun and stalking you wherever I can find you. I'm excited about year 3. I'm excited for you, Trish Mitchell. You're amazing and you're going to do amazing things, and I cannot wait to hear all about them. I really can't. Be sure to tag me in any pictures or posts that you put on Facebook so I can't miss it. Because I got a whole bunch of friends in the last 2 weeks, and I love it, and it's wonderful, but now my feed is sort of like, whoa. And so now I guess the same rule would apply to all areas of Facebook. If you don't tag me in it, I might miss it. So please, please, please do tag me in your race reports and your victory laps. Christy, thank you, Coach. I've run more consistently over the last 2 months than any time other than training for my marathon. Your humor, honesty, and kick-ass plans have changed me and brought a love of running to me rather than being a chore. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for letting me coach and love you for a little while, Christy. This is amazing. Beth, I am so grateful for you, MK. Being in the first heart rate group changed the way I run and the way I approach running in life. You've gone way beyond what I ever would have expected from a coach. I hear your voice in my ear more than you can imagine. Lock your cage, winning at life, bless your heart. And I'm also grateful for all the amazing Bammers that I've gotten to know these past 2.5 years. I met several in person and can't wait to meet several more this May. Thank you, and you are loved. I love you too, Beth. And I hope I get to see you at 3 days at the fair. Gretchen, I echo everything everyone has said here. You've changed my life for the better. Every day I hear your voice in my running shoes and in my stilettos. I will forever be thankful for the lessons and the love I've received from you. My surgeries were not injury related. I still consider myself injury free from running for the past 2.5 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you for loving, coaching, teaching us how to always be winning at life. Gretchen, your life is amazing. It is an honor and a blessing to be your coach, and thank you so much for letting me coach you for a little while. Rachel, another 2-year anniversary here. Thank you for everything. I love heart rate running. I love the hard workouts. I love the tough love and the reality view of the world. You have made me a better runner and, way more importantly, a better person. Wishing you all the best in whatever your new endeavors are. Thank you, Rachel. It has been truly an honor to work with you, and I'm so grateful you have stayed with me for 2 years. I've had relationships that didn't last that long. Congratulations. And thank you. Michelle, thank you, Coach MK, for your wisdom and help over the past year. You helped me become a runner again after baby number 4, and more importantly, taught me a lot about life through running. I wish you all the best and your sweet family as you're going forward. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Michelle. I love you so much.
Michelle!
A different Michelle, sweetie.
Aw.
Erica, just to clarify, bar classes totally count as my 3 times a week strength. Am I right? Yes, they do, Erica. Yes, they do. Also, I love you more than my luggage. I love you too, Weezer. Stay in touch. You know where to find me. And you know where to find me. Honey, can you give me a tissue, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Where are the tissues?
Just some toilet paper from the bathroom. It's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. I know it doesn't feel like it's my last day either, because I'm going to be in your head all the time. Coached and loved us forever. Remember, my heart doesn't have an off switch, and neither does my mouth. Thank you, sweet girl, hanging out with me now for 2.5 hours. Yay. No, you don't have to touch it. I love you. You give me that look.
But I wanted to be...
I'm almost down. You tell him I said you could wait until I come down. I'll be fine.
Dad!
She can wait. I'm almost done.
She said I could go in her bed with her for a little bit and watch a movie with her, and then I would go to bed after. Yeah. And she also said I could wait with her while
Okay.
she's doing as the coach. Love you.
I love you too, sweet girl. If there are no more questions, and it looks like there aren't in the monthly page, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for letting me coach and love you for just a little while. It's been such an honor and a dream come true to participate in another Mother Runner in the programs. I am so grateful that, please not now, I love you and I've done this a lot. Just go wait in my bed. Go wait in my bed. My bed.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me coach and love you for even a little while. It's been a dream come true to be part of these programs. It has been a dream come true to love you guys. Oh, there are more on the event page? I thought I was in the event page. Oh, thanks, Carrie. Carrie, I'm not seeing the questions you're referring to. The monthly page. Where's the link to watch after the broadcast? Oh, sorry, I found more questions. Sorry, guys. Where's the link to watch after the broadcast? Susan DeLeo will go through and cut everything up and post it. She'll probably post it right there. May. Hi, Coach. Wishing you and your family happy holidays. Can you explain the magic of the slow cool down after 20 minutes at 5K pace? Yeah, man, when your body is recovering, we're stressing your body out. We're overreaching when you run 5K pace. Because remember, 5K is hard and it hurts, and when run correctly, it's terrible, right? So, by running 5K pace, we're overstressing your body in the same way we would be if you were deadlifting and trying to, I don't know, pull some number that was ridiculous for your strength level at that time, right? So we're breaking muscle, and then when your muscle has to repair while your body is in motion, and oxygen delivery is priority number one because you're in work mode, that's when the magic happens, and that is why the cool down is important. So if you were to stop cold, less oxygen starts, work is done. Once your body's gotten the signal that the work is done, oxygen is devoted everywhere else and other functions take over. But when you continue to work after the hard work is done, after the overreaching is done, when you're repairing while you still work, that is the magic. So that's why the cool down is important from a very high level. Feel free to email me and I can send you some scientific articles that go through. Those are from last week? Oh, they are. You're right. Why was I getting the wrong links, you guys? I'm so sorry. Thank you for hollering. Thank you, A. Leatherman. That song sounds sweet. Y'all, that page isn't coming up for me. Oh, here it is. Okay. Liz, love you so much. I don't know what I'm going to do without MK. You're such a guiding light. That's it. I think I know the answer to this, but making sure. My goal, at least for the beginning of the year, is to keep the wheels on and maintain fitness, try to lose weight, and get through custody. I am going to pray for you. I'm thinking about signing up for Taekwondo with my kids. Good call. Good idea. Do that. Do that. And I'm going to talk about why when I release the production schedule for the things a couple cool things I do really want to do with this Facebook page and my Twitch channel in the new year. It's twice a week for 45 minutes and lots of strength. Does that count? At least a little strength. Does it go okay with Lindsay? I think it goes okay with Lindsay if we take all the hard running out of Lindsay and for you to focus on weight loss, because that hard running is going to rev your metabolism in a way that can it will up your cortisol levels in a way that can slow down the weight loss process. So make all the easy runs on Lindsay, easy effort, and you're good. Everything that I said in the weight loss webinar still applies, but yes, I'm good with Taekwondo. 3 times a week is optimal. Twice is good. Do it twice, and then add in another session to strengthen your winning. Any last words of encouragement? I need to hear that you believe I'll be an amazing and strong runner when all this is done. Girl, you will. You lost 200 pounds, over 200 pounds. You lost a Shetland fucking pony in a single move. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. The really hard stuff is behind you now. All that's left is a little bit of manipulating that's going to come from your kids that are like, why are you getting a divorce? It's like, because I married a douchebag. You don't get to make me feel bad about it when I stayed with him a little too long because I thought it was best for you. Whoop, whoop. That's what's going to be hard, is looking your kids in the eye and saying, not right now, and stop that, and you don't get to manipulate me, not this way. We're going to talk about what happily ever after looks like, and unfortunately for me, it means away from your father, because you know why, and they do. So the hard thing is behind you. The annoying thing is what's going to continue. Leaving was one of the hardest things you've ever done. You've got the road ahead of you is not going to be totally easy, and I get that, but beating yourself up on the run is not going to get you any closer to where you want to be. It's just going to be a different type of abuse. I love you. I want the best for you. You're going to be fine. And if you don't feel like you're fine, reach out to me and we'll talk it through. You wish you'd asked what? Yeah, you want to say easy effort for the weight loss. So think about it again like chits. So if you've got chits to spend, you want all of your chits going toward strength, which means you got to run easy if we're going to maintain cortisol levels. But I did a whole talk about this the other night on Twitch, and it should still be in my history. So if you go back in past broadcasts, you'll see an hour-long talk I did about it on Monday night last week. Melissa, hi MK, you've taught me so much. I feel like I have so many more tools for life and running than I had before stumbling across the Heart Rate Training podcast 18 months ago. I've been trying to think of a question that I have no idea how to answer regarding running, and every time I start thinking, yep, I have the framework for that. Yep, I have the framework for that. Trust me, I recognize I don't know everything, but you did such an amazing job of teaching me how I think I How to think I have faith I can execute. Wishing you and your family the best. Cannot wait to see 2019 and how much better it is for the influence you've had on so many of us. I always say if I do my job correctly, you won't need me anymore. But if I do my job well, you'll never want to do this on your own. So, and I believe that. So thank you. I must have been doing something right to keep you for 2 years, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Katie, no question, just thanks. I'm a better everything because of you. I'm so grateful for all that you've taught me, and I'm happy you'll still be around via the podcast, the Instagram, and Twitch. I've been having a really hard time with the Romeo Roar. I'm not sure what to think about myself and the fact that this task has become more difficult than I expected. I do think it's a great example of how your impact on my life has gone way above and beyond running. I'm a data analyst and talk about my clients' ROI all the time. I was thinking the other day that my ROI from being coached and loved is immeasurable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's how I would write yours, Katie. Okay? 40 years of conditioning, of being told to be humble, of being told not to show off, not to brag, not to make the other people feel around me because of my superior skills. 40 years, assuming you're 40, I'm 40. 40 years of that does not go away overnight. And thank God, because I'm empathetic enough to know when not to toot my own horn. I'm wise enough to know when speaking up would be considered bragging. And I know to always recognize the excellence in the people around me, even if they don't return it when they should. In 2019, I'm going to toot the horns of everyone around me more when they deserve it, because I'm a data analyst and I can be objective about objective measures. And your Ariana Grande clause is that you're going to make sure you toot your own horn first. Okay. Most people have to be told you compliment 3 people in the room before you compliment yourself. And by people, I mean dudes. We have to scale them back. We give them so much confidence, and we teach women to be silent. So, don't make that a goal. You're not going to throw off 40 years of conditioning overnight. You're not going to start magically doing things differently that go against the instincts you've been taught in the name of being a good human and self-protection your entire life. But what you're going to do is start adding yourself into the list of people that you acknowledge for excellence. That's an order. And that's your roar. Phyllis, I want to thank you again for all you've done over the last 2 years for me and everyone in these groups. You've taught me patience and that I'm good enough. It helps me extend that grace to my children in a hyper-competitive, critical world. If you ever find yourself down south, please let me know. I will. You know what, Phyllis, and if you're back here, I would love to walk around Wash Park with you. Just say when. Just say when. Mama Hawk, I love you too. Thank you. Yes, you know what? When you come to Chicago, if anyone's in Denver, come see me and come say hi. I would love it. Thank you, Laura. And I haven't forgotten you. I will get to your email. And Amy as well. You wanted monthlies and marathon. You'll get it. I've just been a little busy this week. Yay, horn tooting. Katie, I've learned so much since April, and you patiently answer my questions with so much detail. I've been a slow runner, 11, 12-minute miles since I started running in 2009, but I had nowhere near the endurance that I have now after HRT. Now I'm proud to rock even slower 15-minute mile for 3 hours without stopping. My mind has shifted. I'm not competing with anyone. I run for many reasons, but if I'm running with my heart rate approaching death, that is a bad idea. Thank you for all you've taught me. Thank you for giving running back to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No questions, just gratitude. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. Helen, thank you for 2 fantastic years and many more to come. If I want to use the monthlies, a monthly to half plan for a very hilly race. It's one hill, a mountain. Should I pick months with hill work? Double the strength. Double the strength, incorporate lots of hills, especially into your long run and in your harder runs on Mondays and Wednesdays, and you're golden. That should be fine. Thank you times a million. Thank you. Carrie, I've secured a kitchen pass in order to attend live. Yay. I don't want to know what you had to do to get it. Lulu. Today I ran 9 miles, slow and steady, and had no issues. No ego, no care how I looked, how I felt. I just ran in every time. One little thought starting to pop up, such as wonder what others think when they see me run, or really this slow when I hit 15-minute pace. I heard you were in my head screaming fudge and all your positive thoughts. 2 years ago, we talked over the phone. You convinced me to stop beating up my body and listen to it. I run with no pain, no care, and with freedom. Thank you for a lifetime of love and being a true self. Thank you for sticking with it, Lulu. It's easier to leave. Amanda, I keep having to remind myself, breathe, coach, hashtag isn't dead. I've been with you for almost 2 years, and I signed on because I didn't want to burn out while training for my first post-baby marathon. I work in sports medicine, and listening to your initial podcast, your science was so on, I figured why not go for it. What I didn't realize was that you were going to have such a huge impact on my life. You've helped me get back to running after 2 rough pregnancies. I've run more miles than I ever imagined. More! As beneficial as the running has been, you've made me take a hard look at myself in the mirror. When I started working with you, I was the shell of someone I once knew but couldn't recognize. You helped me get back my self-confidence and helped me not be so hard on myself. Because of you, I now wake up each morning as the best version of myself I can be on that day and at that moment. Thank you for being exactly who you are. I'm proud to be coached and loved. I watched your weight loss video and I'm saving to work with Ellie. For the workout, she talked about the strength and the running. I am game for all the strength. I was planning to follow the monthlies for the foreseeable future. Should I not do any of the speed work if I'm hoping to lose weight, or do the workouts as written and up the strength and keep focused on nutrition? Watch the video. Monthlies, you're better off putting all your chits in the strength basket and making all the runs easy effort, generally speaking, during your weight loss period. Because remember, we can't train for better and lose weight at the same time. One metabolic function at a time. Your body doesn't multitask like that. Not when it comes to change or deltas. Trisha, I'm not normal. I've loved getting to know you in this community of women who are also not normal in some of the same ways I am. Who have dog hairballs blowing around in their homes but get their miles done. Who carry resistance bands in their purses. Who run in the dark in all temperatures and support each other good days and bad. You, MK, are just yourself. You give us that gift and also the freedom to be who we are. You stand up for our right to stop wasting time tearing ourselves down. Because there's just too much fun stuff to be doing. These are the words I will hear when I think of you. I love them so. You have no idea what your potential is. I've been saying that to people my whole life, but no one has ever said it to me. I'm sorry it took that long. I really am. Because you're amazing, Trisha. You're ferocious and joyful, tough and flexible, fact-filled and ready to learn more. You have refreshing passion and urgency. You talk fast and cuss quite a bit. Yeah. You bring things up that need to be said. You are stunningly patient with anyone who truly wants to learn, even if your answer includes frustration about those who don't. Your blending of work and home should become a Harvard Business Review case study. You work your tail off. I know I'm going to keep seeing you. I just want this to be your graduation day where you get to reflect back and bask and savor. You'll be transformed when your coaching shingle comes out again. And I want to make sure you know that you're whole and perfect, ready to go. The keys are in your pocket and a lot of people are ready to ride with you. I love you, MK. Thank you for giving so hard. Thank you. Erica, I am in denial. Also, I realize that saying goodbye brings out all my social awkwardness and everything I want to say ends up sounding like excerpts from a stalker. So instead, I'll just stay in denial and ask. Yes, barb class counts. Casey, I never would have attempted a marathon if not for the possibility, thinking, and can-do-it approach you taught me with HRT in life. I was always the chubby, bookish nerd whose family made fun of her lack of athletic athletic ability and a family of sports nuts. I let their label hamper me for too long. But with Coach MK, HRT, and the incredible Bammer Tribe, I reclaimed myself and decided I was the one who knew myself enough to claim the label of athlete, a badass conqueror of huge goals. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for giving me the ability to do that. You guys, I love playing this role. Karen, thank you for loving me and helping me to believe in me, helping me slow down and be okay with it. Thank you for loving me, keeping me injury-free. I love you and continue to feel coached and loved. Not quite sure where, but how do I transition to marathon training while doing the monthlies? What do you recommend for me knowing my secret goal? I will get the monthly to marathon plan out as soon as I can. It will be by the end of the week. So, I will distribute it to everyone on the nice list. And it's just easier that way rather than trying to keep up with who all had asked for it, because my inbox is overflowing right now, and it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful problem to have, but it's still a lot. So I will get that out as soon as I'm able, and I'm going to have a whole lot more bandwidth starting on Tuesday. Amy, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for teaching me to believe in myself. In the last 2.5 years, I've run 4 marathons. That's amazing. Which email do I use to send you a reminder for the monthly to marathon document? Oh, no, you did send the reminder last week, and I did get it, and you had the right email. The best email for me is coachmkfleming@gmail.com. That's the one that's going to get the fastest response. I have all the documents handy in that account. Carrie, I know that you're not dead, but I would be amiss not to tell you that I feel like a little piece of me will be missing on January 1st. I have enjoyed more than you will ever know beta testing programs for you. I love how you've reaffirmed my thoughts and feelings on so many levels and helped me be more confident with just saying fucking and being me. Love me for me, not who you want me to be. You've also helped me feel comfortable with good enough rather than perfectionism. Originally, I joined you so that I could run again and not get re-injured, but it turned into a way of life. I really enjoyed sprinkling a little MK throughout my day. I just want you to know that I love you equally as much as all the space between the stars. I don't ever run in question, but I would like to know what you would want each of us to take away from the past 2.5 years with you. Just one last little MKism. What would that one thing be? There is no part of you that needs to change. You are perfectly made, but no one expects perfection from you. That's not how it works. When you're perfectly made, that's where it ends. You can do whatever you want. You were given free will. Let's focus on what you want to do and remember that you have no idea what you're capable of, because you have never allowed yourself to think big enough. That is what I want you to know, all of you. And I believe in that as firmly as I believe in that perfect maker. Christine, I don't have a question to ask, but I wanted to stop in and say thank you. As I was listening to the most recent morning mantra this morning, I was reflecting on how much you have changed the way I think about things in the past year. I think the biggest mental shift for me has been giving myself grace and realizing that good enough is fucking great. I've long been a perfectionist and would guilt and shame myself for falling short of this unattainable standard. Thank God for you saying all the things I needed to hear. You gave me permission to be imperfect, embrace it, and celebrate all the ways I succeed. What greater gift can someone give me? I will miss you immensely in this role. Still, I respect and admire you doing what you feel is best for you and your family. I'm over here cheering you on and wishing you nothing but success and happiness. I'm so thankful that I have your podcast, The Morning Mantra, to keep up with you, and Twitch. You're so loved, Coach. I love you too, Christine. I love you so much. I love you so much. Gretchen, I will continue to thank you for everything you brought into my life. You're the reason I've been here these past 2.5 years and found such wonderful women to stand by my side. Thank you for all of your blood, sweat, tears, and extreme dedication to all the spammers. And do you get any comments made to Twitch stream after the fact? Yes, I do. I found myself answering like I was there for the conversation. I mapped out my 2016. I'm running out of battery here. After writing it all out, I realized Coach is right. I have a habit of just thinking about what I can do next rather than processing major events. I rarely look back for perspective. It's never about the running, but running is the one thing where no one else gets an opinion on what I do or say and what I can accomplish. Through heart rate training with you, I've been able to find confidence and trust in myself and the ability to ask for what I need that has overflowed to other areas of life. That has been priceless. I hear, and even though in my head, even though I've only done one 5-mile and one 10K in the last 1.5 years, you've gone with me through my journey. But you were right, there was just so much else along the way. I enjoy the process so much more now, not just the performance result, which is priceless. Thank you for the coaching. Coming back from illness and on antibiotics, any rules of thumb for easing back in? Don't push it. Less is more. Less is more. Try to give me 20 minutes of walking. Start there, and you're good. My husband remarked that you know me really well at this point. He suggested I ask you, what would you think would benefit me the most? What would you recommend for me? Going through the exercises, getting rid of your goals for yourself and stop setting them arbitrarily. Look at what's going on and try to have the same goals that I have for me right now. And that's just getting back into the habit. Get back into the habit. Get back into the habit. Protect your boundaries and keep doing what you're doing, all the while acknowledging what a boss you actually fucking are. Thank you, Erica. You've helped me. You guys have helped me heal too. You really have. Oh, I know I'm perfectly made, man. That's why I'm able to be so gentle on myself. There's no demand. The one thing that I thought when I stopped paying attention to religion and really started like tuning into like the whole God aspect was like, no, he's perfect, so I don't have to be. That's amazing. What the fuck was I worried about for so long? Oh, it's awesome. All I need to do is like not be an asshole and throw away this gift that he's given me. The gift not only of being alive, but having a big old mouth that for some reason people want to listen to. So I'm trying real hard not to do that. And what I would recommend for you is to focus on that superpower and stop looking for things that need to be fixed, Anne. You're adulting like a boss, your priorities in order, you are perfectly made, and you're a wonderful mom. You're a wonderful employee. You're not spinning your wheels anymore. Let's continue to not spin our wheels and work in ways that will be validated, recognized, acknowledged, and rewarded in 2019. That's it. Sarah, I'm so proud to be part of this group of people, a group which you shaped and grew with your love. You made us run a lot. You made us look past the running and write it ourselves at our purest and most raw hopes and dreams. We needed it. We are all changed because of it. We wish you so, so well. You deserve every good thing that has come to you in the past 10 years. Thank you for the space you have held for each and every one of us. And I got more. I'll always have more. Always have extra bandwidth. Elizabeth, hi, Coach. I have 2 questions and 1 comment. I completed my last long run in my first month of heart rate training, and despite having so many questions, I really, really enjoyed it. I'm trying to decide between purchasing your 12 months and monthlies, do it, or jumping back into a regular plan for my half in February. So my question, similar to last week, is if I purchase via donation for the 12 monthlies, how will I hit a goal pace via heart rate training? Well, the slow runs give you the endurance necessary to hit a race pace, and the strength is what gets you to the faster paces. So the monthlies have lots of harder runs in them. So I think you'd be okay. The reason I'm considering switching to the HR training is after this final long run, I felt so good. That's the point. If you can only do it 3 times a week, you're not training, or you're doing it too hard. I ran for over 2 hours at a very mountainous route. Like I've said before, I would like to complete my half in under 2, which isn't a PR for me, but it's very different than my 14-minute long runs I've done all month. If you heart rate train for a race, how does pace on race day work? It's complicated. If you've got a lot of experience, I say go out there and run it by feel. But it's really, there's no good number for it that allows us to predict it. As I said in my original heart rate podcast, and I stand by it, the one thing that science does not have a number for is an alert to how long each individual can last over the ventilatory cap, which is generally speaking 140. Everyone that is watching this, you are within 2 standard deviations of the ventilatory cap, which means you're within 2 standard deviations of 140. So, how fast you can go and how long you can hold on, there was nothing that predicted that after running 18-minute miles for 3.5 months and then 14-minute miles for another 2 months that I would have shown up in New York and run 9:30s at the New York City Marathon in 2013 after Irish Twins and moving to altitude. Nothing. And there's no way I can do it with you guys, but that doesn't mean heart rate training doesn't work. This is a critical lack of predictability that is contingent upon too many variables. This is the difference between a well-trained athlete with a solid aerobic base and one who doesn't, right? When you have a solid aerobic base, based on that has been well-defined. And the Macmillan calculator holds pretty well. But until you've reached aerobic efficiency or aerobic, I call it aerobic alignment, and that's where, your 5K pace and your 10K pace and your half and your full pace, all that come out of the Macmillan calculator, what would apply to you as opposed to I do really fast at this distance but not at any other. So all that just to say it's a function of being properly trained and properly executing the event itself. So it depends on what pace you're looking for, and I don't know if what you think what you want to do is realistic, to be honest, and that's always tough for any coach. Most coaches kind of step away from that conversation and say, here's the plan to train to that pace. I don't do that. I'm like, here's the plan to meet your body where it's at right now, and let's go out there and hope for the best on race day. It's a different approach, but it's the same science underpinning both. I just am willing to have uncomfortable conversations, and most coaches don't want to, and I can't blame them. If you heart rate train for a race, how does the pace work on race day? I think that's one long question. How long are you willing to accept the donations for the monthlies? I cannot accept any donations after tomorrow. At midnight on 12/31, we're done. Because the new heart rate plans will be up, ready for purchase, and I'm not here to compete with them at all. Another Mother Runner has always intended to compete, to continue with heart rate training, and I've said continuously and clearly and consistently from the start that this is over on 12/31. So when I go to bed on New Year's Eve, when I wake up, I will appreciate the donation, but I'm not going to send you anything for it. My comment is one of thanks. I listened to an AMR podcast in 2017 about nailing your race in which you said comparison is the thief of joy. It was a comment that resonated with me and continues in running, mothering, wifing, and other parts of my life. It's so true. It was a bit life-changing. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. You're welcome. Jackie, I've not known you long, Coach MK, but I'm forever changed by you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Good luck to you in your new journey. You're loved. Is there any chance that you could demo some of your other squish ball exercises again during the week on Twitch? Absolutely. I can't do it now, though. Just, come find me during the week, and I will totally demonstrate anything you want to see. But a lot of my old Twitches are going to be popping up on a YouTube channel. They should all go live on January the 2nd. So you might find... it's coachmkfleming@gmail.com. Go subscribe and you'll see when they all kind of appear, and you should probably find them in there. Karen, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coaching and loving me this past 18 months. I'm a changed person because I met you and recognize I'm nothing but potential, and so is everyone else. I have a question about yellow underpants and the January plan and other tempo workouts. My easy effort is 125. Anything faster feels like work. My electric fan slides about 158, which my heart rate can't be for tempo work, where the written cap is 170. 160 I think is good. Yes, that feels reasonable. Question 2, my first marathon is in the Liverpool Roll at the end of May. My goal is to finish with a smile. The UK weather is variable to say the least. It could be 80, it could be 50. What would one recommendation you would make to help me prepare that you don't think I would have thought of myself, or that you haven't mentioned before, or you don't think people have paid attention to? None of y'all hear me when I say plan for the worst and go into that race expecting something other than a PR in the spring. So ask yourself, what am I here for? And then go get. And if it's not going to be, and if it's if it's not PR conditions, it might not be a PR, and it might not be about you. Okay, so you guys have got to give yourself some grace, and that's the thing that no one has ever heard. Finally, my next goal is a trail 50 in summer 2020. That's a year after my marathon. You don't need a full year. You need about, I'd say, like 10 weeks. 10 weeks to go from marathon to a 50K. How should I adapt my running after the marathon during that year? You need to get on trails. I'm assuming that 50K is on trails. Let's get on trails. Let's do more strength. Let's get used to trail running. Is it okay to run an occasional half, for example? Yeah, it's fine. But if you're doing most, you got to be, specificity matters, man. If you're going to race on a trail, you got to train on a trail. And that's the other thing I can't get people to do. Everybody wants to look like an ultra runner, but no one wants to do the work of an ultra runner. Yeah, I do trail halves. I was going to go back to the monthlies afterwards and then jump into the marathon to 50K, unless I feel I need an ultra coach. I think that's a really good idea. Aside from run on trails and up my strength, is there anything else I should do to maximize that year to prepare? Yeah, make sure you really want to do this. Some people get on trails and they're like, this is too much work. I actually don't live close enough to a trail to get all the work done. And don't beat yourself up. Doesn't mean you lost. It just means, hey, that goal I picked, that was bullshit. Don't be afraid to say that and walk away if you don't like trails. Ask Julie how she feels about doing 5-hour runs in the snow this week with crampons on. Yay! And that's my final piece of advice. If you live in a snowy area, don't pick an ultra in the middle of the winter. Love you, Julie. Barb, you are loved more than you know. Thank you for all the love, guidance, and coaching you've shared. My question is, I've been following the Lindsay plan. I find that's not quite enough running. Want to do more, so when the plan calls for 30 or 30 minute, how do I bump it up to a 45 or 60 minute run? You add 10, so if you're moving it from like 30 to an hour, then you're adding 30 minutes. You're adding 3 sets of 10. So add 10 minutes to each section in the workout. That's how you do it. All right, so if it's a 30-minute workout, you got probably 10-minute warm-up, 10 minutes of work, and a 10-minute cool-down. So add 10 to each. If you're freaking out because math, OMG, add 10 minutes to the start, add 10 minutes of whatever that middle portion is to that work, and then 10 minutes of the cool-down, and that's the quick and easy way to do it. And would other than monthly plans have been a better choice for me? Maybe, Dina. Don't worry about it. You can easily, they all come from the same template, and they're all extended the same way, so don't worry about it too much. You've got the plan, extending it's easy. You didn't do anything wrong. And if you have any trouble, never hesitate to reach out and ask. I'll help you fix it. Also join the HRT. There's, Pat Brockman, started an HRT alumni group, and Sarah Seberg started an HRT monthlies alumni group. Get in both of those. If you don't want to use your one question on me, jump in there. Most people Sarah's done the monthlies with me for over a year. She pretty much can answer any question the way that I would. Lacey, do you have any rules or thoughts as I return to exercise after giving birth to baby number 2? I know I need to go back to my pelvic PT and be kind to my body. Remember, less is more. You don't want to do anything hard or lift anything too heavy until after a PT has made sure that the laxity in your joints is gone. Do not try to evaluate that yourself. You're not biased or medically trained, and it's different in people from cattle. And I say this with love because I talked to a veterinarian the other day that was like, "No, I got no laxity," and I'm like, "No, really? You might have some confirmation bias there. Go check it out." And I know you work with horses and cattle on a farm, and that's awesome. So there's that. I know this isn't a prenatal program, and you went above and beyond to help me where I'm at. I'm barely working out right now, honestly, but it's been so worth it to be part of this community in the monthlies. I'm glad you're here. I really am. My ears hurt. I'm taking this off. The biggest thing to remember is trying to do more sooner isn't better. Just meet your body where it's at and move, and it's all going to come right back as long as you don't get injured. If you get injured, that's a setback. Let's not do that, and you're winning at life. Viola. 3 months ago, I bought new ballast shoes that were less cushy than the Brooks I've been running in. You previously mentioned doing this because my feet hurt after long runs. It worked. Of course it worked. Now my feet are starting to feel the same way after running for 2 hours. Is it time again for less cushy shoes? Possibly, yeah. You're strong enough. You might even need neutral shoes. So if you're not running in neutral shoes, V, go check them out. It might be time for a more neutral shoe with less cushion and less upper. The Nike Vaporfly, I'm being told, is amazing. I should clarify what I mean by hurt. My feet get to feeling sore and squishy. Lasts for only a few hours. Yeah, you need a shoe that's going to be more responsive to the road. Of course I remember you're a dairy farmer. I mean, come on, who are you talking to? You're talking to a girl that loves 4-H and thinks like one of the people I'm talking to, not going to say who, lives on 4-H Road. And I'm never going to forget that. It made me so happy writing that address on the package and the Christmas card. Oh, and people doing the strength challenge. Your packages are going to go. I'm trash. I just didn't want to go to the post office this week. It'll happen. Sorry. Emma, Coach, thank you so much for changing my life. I owe you so much. I love you so much. Thank you for always making me feel loved and helping me reframe my perspective on so many things. I love you, Emma. I'm proud of you, and I love you.
Can I read
Megan,
that?
I'm almost finished. I don't have any questions at the moment, but I feel very coached and loved and want to say thank you. Thank you, Megan. Laura, hoping to use Broad Street 10-mile run as a spring target race. Would you recommend the monthlies as a framework for training or the excellent half marathon plan? Monthlies. They're so much more fun. Oh my gosh. Carolyn, first, thank you so much for everything. You're welcome. You've had an incredible impact on how I approach running, and I'm so very grateful. My question is about the BOSU exercises. In addition to the exercises you gave us in the marathon and half plans, is there a source you'd recommend I check out for additional exercises to do on the BOSU? You could go do the BOSU Master Training course. It's about $250, but it's worth it, and then you know all the moves that are there. You can also show up on Twitch any night where I'm there. I'm a BOSU Master, and ask me anything you want. I can give you new series. I can up the ante as long as, I'm around and you're not, demanding I get up and answer that question in Twitch at 4 in the morning. We can figure something out. I will help you on your journey. No big deal. Melissa, what kind of strength moves do you recommend to keep the upper body and core in strong? I plan on following the monthlies that I purchased for a while, so should I work in the SSSTs too, as well as the BOSU series and loops? Yes, do that. All of the monthlies come with strength. Keep that up. Do BOSU. BOSU Booty #1 is one of the most potent and powerful things you could possibly do. Also, I'm going to be streaming and continuing to work with my small group for 3 days at the fair. You can do whatever they're doing. It's terrible. Little ass fire never hurt anyone, but it did make them cry. Yay! Leah. One of my questions last week was poorly worded, and so I'll have another crack at it. I just want to take advantage of your knowledge while I have access to it. It's a huge privilege, thank you. I DNS'd my first marathon in 2018 due to illness. There was no backup marathon possible. In 2019, I'm aiming for a marathon in early July, but if it doesn't pan out again, my backup marathon is on 4th of August. I'm desperate to do my first marathon and would like to know how to save a taper between the 6th July and 4th. My training plan is 3 months of monthlies and then enter the incredible or outstanding plan at week 7. So the easiest way to do it is if you are on the nice list, then you're going to get the monthlies to marathon plan that I'm going to send out in a week. And when you do that, I'll have it all very clearly laid out. When you're saving a taper, all you're doing is not racing and then doing the taper over and over again. That's it. So like week 2, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, 2 week out, 1 week out, 2 weeks. So you're repeating. And I can't make it any clearer than this, and I know anything I say, you guys are like so going crazy looking for a rule that it's not going to make sense. Weeks 19 and 20, you're just going to repeat them over and over and over and over and over again, but more than 8 weeks is going to be really hard to do. That's it. You don't need to repeat Hell Week ever. Cecily, I still find myself running in the low 130s during my easy effort long runs. That's fine. While it's still cold out, I wonder in the warmer future if I find this is still happening, should I be picking up the pace to keep in the higher 130s? I don't care. Especially notice the lower numbers on downhills. What is a rule of thumb for under 140? Anything under 140 is good. Yes. Closer to 140 is better. No. Thanks so much for your love and guidance. You're welcome. Liz, big hugs to our not dead yet coach. I bought the monthlies. I'm running a half in mid-March. Am I better off sticking with the monthlies and doing the monthly to half transition or jumping from December to week 10 of Amazing? I think monthlies. Man, you need a break. You've been in... I say stay in the monthlies and go monthly to half marathon. It's just, again, it's more fun. Carrie, time is going too quickly. I'm not ready to cut loose quite yet. Me neither. This is dedicated to the loving memory of Coach MK. What is a float? Is it another word for AR, active recovery, or is it different somehow? Active recovery is a jog or a walk. It just means you're in motion. You're not laying down. Anything where you're in motion and continuing to move forward is active recovery. A float is faster than your 140 pace. So let's say, and I'm just making this up just to keep the math easy. Let's say that your warm up in 140 pace is a 10-minute mile. Then you do some tempo work, and they're going to be like 1K repeats. So those 1K repeats, those 1 kilometer repeats are at 7:30. If you were going to float, then instead of active recovery in between those 1K repeats, in the float portion, you would probably run like in 8:30. Slower, no, sorry, I take that back. It'd be like an 8:45 or a 9. It would be slower, but not true complete recovery. Okay? So faster than a jog, slower than a tempo. It's not really recovery. It's just like, that feels better because it isn't terrible, but it's not actually good. That's a float. Float workouts are hard. That's why everyone hated January last year. Christy, not sure. Okay, I have a 5-part question. Okay. Plan B runs. I have an insane travel schedule for work this next month where I'll be traveling from London to Toronto and back the second week of the month. And then the last week of the month I will travel more. While I hope to get all my runs in, I'm also realistic. I don't have a time goal for the Star Wars Challenge in April. I just want to have fun. Good. So with that in mind, if I find I can't do the scheduled workout, is it better to get 20 minutes in on those midday weeks? Yes. 20 minutes is better than nothing.
20 minutes is better than
Life after marathon training. I heard you last week on Ask the Coach talk about a baseline fitness and keeping it up with the monthlies. So is this all still in the ether, planning out my year? Let's say I was to do the Disney stacked races in April with no time goal. I'm thinking of a marathon in June. I'm then thinking, but I'm not committed to do a dopey in 2020. Again, no time goal, but simply just to push myself and see if I can do it. If I did dopey, I would walk the first 2 races, run the half and the full. Again, not sure I'm ready for that commitment. Very long lead up to the question, which is how to cycle training with rest down periods. How long should the rest period be? And I think monthlies are the way to go. And here's the thing. You guys race every single thing you enter. I don't. I don't enter that many races, so I do race everything that I enter, but I enter very little. You guys will enter like 7 or 9 races a year. That is going to lead to burnout. If you are you want to have at no more than 1/3 of the year in totality should be dedicated to a hard performance-based inflexible training cycle where you're beating yourself up and you're not doing all the things in order, because there's your trade-off. You can't have all the snuggles and run all the miles, especially if you travel for work. So more than 1/3 of the year devoted to hardcore improvement level training and you're going to burn out. So that's my rule of thumb. Keep moving and you will get fitter. Push too hard and demand that everything be performance and pick every plan as a performance plan, you are going to burn out and you're going to stop or you're going to get hurt. So that's my 2 cents. Stay in the monthlies, have fun, race when you can, recover in between, but don't being on the excellent plan over and over and over and over and over again is a recipe for disaster. I wouldn't do that. Okay. My iPad is about to die. And it's 8 o'clock and I gotta go snuggle with someone. Thank you for letting me coach and live y'all for a little while. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Why did you take that off?
Sorry.
Don't do that.
Okay.
I love you. Stop.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for taking a chance on something that was scary and not intuitive with a housewife you never heard of, who's never been to the Olympics, participated in the Olympics, or qualified for the trials. Thank you for listening and going with my passion and assuming it would lead to knowledge, and hopefully it led to better. And thank you for never making me defend myself for the credentials I never went out and got or the things I never did, because if I had known, man, that so many people would be like, well, how many times have you run Boston? As a way for like judging me, whether or not I'm a good coach, I might have run Boston. F that. Yay! Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for making 2016 the best year of my life to this point. It was truly outstanding. I mean, I don't know that any year will ever be better than 2016 was, and it was because of each and every one of you. I feel the love. I appreciate every bit of this. And I love you more than you could possibly imagine. And if you don't feel it every day, come say hi, and I will remind you that you are coached, you are loved, and you are winning at life. And never ever doubt, because I don't say it enough, that I am truly, deeply, and profoundly grateful.
Okay, your iPad went off.
My iPad's dead. It's time to go then. Thanks, everyone.